Sorry about the delay. Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, jetblackrlsh here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about June 2nd and June 3rd of 2019. Today is June 4th, 2019, if I got that right. Yep, today is June 4th, it's a Tuesday. Hey, hope everyone's having a wonderful day today. Sorry, we got laundry in the background. We got all that laundry out of the way. That's part of the reason why I started the stream a little bit later than normal. I was trying to start it at midnight, but I actually had some laundry still like in the washer and in the dryer. So I just moved some laundry, set the alarm, and now I'm just chilling. Mm. I got some orange peach mango juice. Now imagine if that was a fruit. It says orange peach mango, but this is clearly more than a combination of three fruits. This is definitely more than just three fruits. Ooh, let me get the live chat up. That way I'll be able to see what you guys are talking about. I see that Ryan's here. Yeah, Ryan. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Mm. I'm going to use my new secret technique for getting the live chat up immediately. YouTube has already labeled this video as like a monetization risk. I'm actually really surprised. What happened? Video just started, YouTube. Sorry, we don't know about this. Let's see, and yep, now I have it popped out. So Ryan said, Jet, I have a rap video for you to review. And then he sent me a link, and he said, stay quenched. Okay, I'll have to grab some headphones, but I could probably listen to that, give you a review. The other day, I hung out with Dozer, Winslow, and Colin. We hung out, Dozer, Colin, and I. Oh, and Gerard for a little bit. Gerard had to go back to work at a certain point. But it was me, Gerard, Colin, and Dozer for like the first part of the day. And we played Soul Calibur 6, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and Smash Brothers Ultimate. It's been a hot minute since I played Soul Calibur 6. I played Talum, and I actually did pretty well. I thought I'd do a lot worse. I kept doing this weird thing with Talum, where I'd accidentally do a string that would make Talum like jump over the opponent. I was trying to keep myself to like the bare fundamentals when playing Soul Calibur 6. I didn't want to do anything fancy because I didn't remember a lot about the game. So I was mainly blocking, doing like vertical slash and horizontal slash, and I would change from vertical and horizontal slash whenever I felt like my opponent knew when to sidestep or like when to block. I would just change it up so that like whatever they tried to change it to, they would just kind of get fucked. Um, but in my pressing square and triangle to try and like catch my opponent, like when they sidestep, try and hit them horizontal, and when they block, try to hit them vertical, I'd accidentally do a string where Talum leaps in the air and just kind of jumps over your opponent. I did that and actually like killed myself a couple times because in Soul Calibur 6 you can like fall out of the arena. So I still did fairly well, but I do remember losing at least like a couple rounds from accidentally just like Uden over the opponent. Mm. Gerard tried to help me out during the game. He was like, it's like a three-hit string. Stop doing that string. Like, stop ending the string with the third hit so that you don't like jump over. But because I wasn't intentionally trying to do the string, nor did I know what the three buttons in the string were, um, I just kept doing it like by accident. But I actually did rather well. I ended up like winning a good bit in like Soul Calibur 6. Then we moved on from Soul Calibur 6 to Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Now in Dragon Ball Fighter Z, I play like a random team for like the first round. So I just like randomed like three characters. And I did pretty well for like a random team. I was just kind of experimenting, just doing like some different shit. And then after that, I played Vegito Blue, Bardock, and Android 16, and that was fun. That one wasn't random. I like purposely picked like those three people And while I do enjoy Android 16, I think he's like pretty okay. I decided to replace him with Beerus, and then I did Vegito Blue, Bardock, and Beerus. I really like that team. I thought that was pretty fun. But I did rather well in Fighter Z as well. I feel like I did a good job. Um, we ended up switching from Fighter Z to Smash. Smash, I was just kind of getting the dick. I was not doing very well in Smash at all. Um, I don't think I got first place in Smash even once. If I did, I don't remember really. No, I did. I did get first place in Smash once, but I didn't kill anybody. I just happened to survive until the end. It was like one of those. It was really weird. Oh yeah, because it was like a sudden death thing. I think it was just me and Gerard left. I was playing as Sonic, and it's the thing where like the borders in Smash get smaller, and I just stayed in the middle and waited for Gerard to get close, and I just kicked him into the fucking border. Uh, so that was how I ended up winning that one. But other than that, I did pretty bad. I think I made second place once, and the second place was really weird because me and Colin more or less died at the same time, but my characters had to like flip into the background, so it took longer for my character to die. Where Colin's character just kind of died immediately, so I ended up getting like second. But really, I probably should have ended up getting third. It was like a really weird situation. But playing fighting games was fun. It's always good to like play fighting games with the guys. Ryan said Jet had his power underestimated and jumped so far over Obi-Wan. He landed in the lava anyway. Let's see. What am I thinking about? So, after playing fighting games and everything, Gerard ended up getting called in for work, even though he was supposed to be off today. So he went to work. Me and Dozer hung out with like Aiden for a little bit. Then I had to pee, and there was a weird situation where I thought Aiden was like doing a bit. I just thought he was like trying to do like a joke thing, where he wasn't letting me like go in the bathroom. Um, and then it ended up not being a bit, and Aiden actually was like pretty serious. He was like, "No, like, you guys are technically Colin's guest, and as Colin's guest, you guys should use like Colin's bathroom." Um, Aiden and Colin end up getting into like a little bit of like a I wouldn't necessarily say argument, but a disagreement. And then Aiden like wanted to like cool off, and we also were like gonna go get food anyways. So we head out to get food. Aiden had invited me and Dozer to like go with him to like Popeyes. I don't like American fried chicken, and I'd already eaten. I was on my way to hang out with them and to go to Three Scoops for like some milkshakes. As we were on the way out, uh, Dozer didn't like fully get like a read on the situation and how like Aiden was feeling, so he didn't want to leave Colin behind. So he's like, "Yo, Colin, do you want to go with us?" But when he asked Colin if he wants to come with us, Winslow's like already outside about to like get in his car. So he hears that and he's like, "What?" And then Colin's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go get ready." And then there's this weird situation where Winslow's like, "Yo, like I didn't invite Colin," and then Dozer's like, "Oops." He's like, "I didn't want Colin to like be by himself in the house." And then Colin comes out, and then Dozer's like, "Hey, we can take like separate cars and we can go." And then Colin's like, "Why would we take separate cars?" And then Winslow's like, "I didn't invite you." And it just ends up being like a really messy situation. It's like, ooh. Um, so that happens. Um, Me, Dozer, and Aiden like hang out for a bit after we get back from like getting food and getting milkshakes and everything. And it's just pretty much like a chill hangout. Winslow's working on like his math work and like some history stuff. Dozer's chilling, like talking with us. I'm like texting with Beth. We seem to be having like a pretty good time. Eventually, Dozer is like, "Hey, like I got to split," and like Dozer leaves, so it's just like me and Aiden hanging out. And then that night, Colin and Dozer, not Colin and Dozer, Colin and Winslow have like a talk, and I like sit in on the talk, and it actually goes really well. I feel like they've like settled like the disagreement from before, and they got to like air out any like grievances that they had, and I feel like they got closer. I always have respected Colin, I feel like I have even more respect for Colin after that talk. I feel like it went really I feel like it went really well. Now my only thing is, will things continue to be good after that talk? Because the thing is not just to have the talk and for people to go, you know what, I may not have like done like the best thing. It's also about whether or not um they stand by what they said. Like as long as the actions like follow their words. You know what I mean? So from the talk, things seem really good. Now it's just based on whether or not like that goodness can be maintained. Let's see. Ryan then quoted, "I had to pee, and there was a weird situation." And there was indeed a weird situation. Kels then said, "Hola, yo, Kels, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on this stream?" Um, Me and Winslow also had a talk yesterday about like bits. Occasionally, Winslow will try to do a bit where he like does something like this, like kind of silly, uh, and it's not really supposed to be taken seriously. And the weird bathroom situation led to me and Winslow having a conversation where Winslow's like, "Hey, like sometimes it's like not a bit, and I'm actually like trying to be serious about something, and even when it is a bit, there can be like deeper meanings behind it." Um, it was really just a misunderstanding. Um, but I need to try and be better at identifying when Winslow's being serious about something and when Winslow's like joking about something. Because a lot of times he likes to just throw them in to like normal conversation, like the bits. Um, and I thought I was better at identifying the bits, but sometimes I'm just not, I guess. So I just need to get better at that. But we had a really deep talk, me and Winslow, about like private prisons and like views on like the prison system and like rehabilitation and stuff like that. I'm not super into like political talks and going into like deeper political discussions, but I feel like it was like okay. I feel like I didn't really have a lot to say on the subject. It was more Winslow going in on it, me asking Winslow questions about like what would he do differently, what does he like about it, what does he not like about it. Um, but I do feel like I wouldn't mind doing conversations like that in the future, but I guess maybe in a different way. I even discussed at one point how I think I would enjoy conversations like that more if it was more like an interactive RPG style like game thing where he explains like how he would prefer the system to be, and then we like play through a hypothetical scenario where one of us is in that system and like trying to get through it. I think that would be interesting. But I feel like just the conversation alone was somewhat interesting, but not as interesting as I feel like it maybe could be, at least for me. Kel said, I have an idea for an archetype I might actually make. It's called Fairy Fruit. I haven't decided the gimmick yet, but all the monsters are fruit with wings. I think that's an interesting idea, Kels. What was the inspiration for the Fairy Fruit custom Yu Gi Oh archetype that you now are thinking about? Let's see. Ryan said YouTube demonetized you because of the juice. Demonetized the stream because of the juice. He had that all upside down and backwards. Then Kel said, "What juice? This juice, Dole, 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 orange peach mango. It's not bad. That should be the tagline. It's not bad." Let's see. Ryan said, "What were his views on the prisons?" Aiden's not a fan of like private prisons. I understand why. I feel like private prisons um, can be abused. Um, I don't think that necessarily means that they're all bad. I just feel like that means they should be regulated well. Because I understood where Aiden was coming from, where it's like private prisons make money based off of like occupancy of the prison. So they have an incentive to want prisoners to like have longer sentences, um, so that they can make more money, which means they're more likely to like be corrupt because if you get, let's say, like $1,000 per prisoner like funding for your prison, then if you can get more prisoners in your prison for longer, that just gives you more funding. You're just getting more money. um But I don't know. I don't necessarily think that's bad. It's abusable, but I think if there are tight enough regulations, you can avoid abuse of the system if possible. You know what I mean? Um, let's see. Emot, Emot faculty, I believe. I'm gonna say Emot. He said, "Why do these people keep thinking that they're gonna breed on the pain of my past?" So I believe that that is a rap lyric. I believe the next one is also a rap lyric. Yo, Emot faculty, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Ryan said, "I have 500 custom cards uploaded." Congratulations, Ryan. That's a lot of custom cards. Are they like good? And then Ryan said, "America still has slavery." He said, "As prisoners are considered slaves." And then Emot said, "No, it doesn't, but they aren't." I believe that Emot and Ryan are about to have a disagreement in this live chat. Excuse me. Let's see. Emot said, well, hold on. Ryan said, "Private prisons profit off of slavery." And then Emot said, "Prisoners are prisoners." And then he said, "It's not slavery, dude." Then Ryan said, "Reread the 13th Amendment." And then Emot said, "Don't need to." Ah, it looks like we got a political debate. Ryan versus Emot. Mm. I wish you guys were as excited about stuff like Tom King's Batman run. It's gonna be stopped at issue 85 supposedly, or Immortal Hulk outselling Batman in comics recently, or the new news that the guy from Twilight's gonna like play Batman in a movie. I don't know why all those examples had to do with Batman. Uh, there's a lot of Batman news, I guess, right now when it comes to just nerd news. Or the fact that we got Spawn confirmed for Mortal Kombat 11. Or that hot new Mortal Kombat 11 Shang Tsung trailer. Or role playing games. I really like talking about you guys' ideas for role playing games. Or stories that you guys might be writing. Or like fan fiction. That'd be cool to talk about. Just a whole lot of cool ass topics. Let's see where we at. Do-do-do-do. Kel said the inspiration was just a random idea I had from a picture I saw of an apple with wings. Oh, cool. What are all the fruits that you think you're gonna use for like your fruit fairy archetype, Kels? I know you said you still don't know what your gimmick's going to be for fruit fairies, but I'm curious if you have like some ideas for what like the artwork's gonna be like, or maybe like some names of some of the fruit fairy cards. Emot said labor, not slavery. Then Kel said, "We haven't done a custom card stream in a minute." That's true. We have not done a custom card stream in a minute. We should. At some point, most def. Um, it's harder to do like dueling book stuff with only like a 30-minute slot. Um, it's harder to do a lot of stuff with a 30-minute slot. It's mainly because of the fact that I know I'm going to be working soon. And once I start working, I'm probably going to have to like do these streams at like 8. I want to try to do them at like 8 p.m. once I start working. And then they like end at like 9 p.m. kind of thing. And then during the weekends, I could do like longer streams. That's what I'm hoping for. Let's see. Ryan said neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And then Kell said prisoners aren't slaves because they gain benefits for doing labor. Then Emot said, "Okay, Smarty Pants, listen here." And he said, "Kells, that's not it. Slavery is cruel labor. Prisoners don't take place in cruel labor." Then Kells said, "I'm not very educated because I only saw like 4 or 5 seasons of Orange is the New Black." Goodness. That was an interesting line. Ryan said, though the amendment formally abolished slavery throughout the United States, factors such as black codes, white supremacist violence, and selective enforcement of statutes continued to subject some black Americans to involuntary labor, particularly in the South. Uh, it seems like Ryan and Emon are going on like a whole thing. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about today, because I didn't tell you guys. No, I told you guys what I did like yesterday. I didn't really talk about like what I did today. So on June 3rd, I mainly like stayed in today, and by mainly I mean I just did. I stayed in the house pretty much all day. I went through some programming exercises. I did request for the first time. Request are where you're able to do like a call in your program to a website and pull like the HTML from the website into your program which you can then use in order to do different things depending on what you're trying to do with the code. I played around with classes, which is a thing that I did back in college a little bit, but I personally don't use classes a lot in my code. So I played around with classes a little bit, gave myself a little bit of exposure to that. It's essentially a way for you to do more object oriented programming, though I feel like you can kind of do that with functions already and functions calling to different functions. But classes is like a neater way of doing that and making it more organized. It's kind of cool. Um, Cool is a relative term, depends on whether or not you actually care about programming stuff. I think that's part of the reason why I'm going to skim over a lot of this programming stuff. I did like some JSON stuff. JSON is all about having like text files that your program can like pull information from in like a certain format and then use that information in the code and then spit code back into the text file for you to like save and load information from code and to be able to use it. Um, so I got some exposure to that and like practiced with that. And coding's been a lot of fun. Me and my dad had a little bit of tension. Me and dad like to do things a little bit differently when it comes to programming. I know dad's heart is in the right place. He's like, I'm just trying to get you ready for like the way that like we do it, like professionally versus how you do it like personally. And I was like, I understand where you're coming from, but this is just a program that I'm making for my own reference to become more familiar with these concepts. So it's kind of like you're trying to control how I'm taking notes, and it just feels weird. Things worked out, and I feel like I got some good progress on like some new programming concepts that I'm definitely going to be using on the job. So I'm glad that I'm getting that exposure to that now. I've been texting with Beth a lot today, and a little bit with Aiden. Me and Aiden at some point we're gonna do like a study hangout, and that ended up just kind of falling through. Aiden's more or less focusing on like getting homework done, and that's totally fine. And Beth got a lot of homework done. She got like an 85 on a Physics 2 homework assignment that she was a little scared of because it was just a lot of work. But yeah, let me scroll up and see where we're at in the chat. So let's see. So Kel said the main deck cards are going to be basic fruit like apples, pears, and oranges, while the extra deck cards are going to be more exotic fruit like dragon fruit. Do you think you're going to have like jackfruit and like papayas and fucking like pomegranates and shit like in the extra deck? Or will it be like even more exotic like that? I mean, even more exotic than that. Like, what are some more of the crazy exotic fruits that you're gonna have for like the extra deck? Because I think your fruit fairy archetype is interesting. Then Emot said, "Hey, Black, stop lying." Emot, just for reference sake, the guy whose name is Jet Black, the one and only in the chat, he's Ryan. I'm actually Jet, so it's just a little confusing. When you're like, "Hey, like Jet, stop lying," it's like that's Ryan. I know that's of no fault to you. That's him picking that username. I'm just letting you know. Then Emot said slavery is completely abolished in the USA. And then he said, anyways, peace, y'all. Oh, it seems like Emot just dipped. He was just done after that. Then Matt said, no peace, only war. Yo, Matt, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Ryan said, abolish except for prisoners. Then Matt said, also, fruit just exists with the fruit magicians. Yeah, but he's trying to do fruit fairies, so they'll probably be fairy type monsters instead of spellcaster type monsters like the fruit magicians. You can have fruit spread amongst, my guy. Just like how there are multiple archetypes that are based on elements, like element sabers and like e-heroes, but you know, they play differently. Then Matt said, fairy type monsters are lame. I mean, are fairy type monsters lame? Are they really? I feel like that's debatable. Also, that's a good question. Are fruit fairies going to be fairy type monsters or plant type monsters? Because you could go either way. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. They're called fruit fairies. Of course, they're going to be fairy type monsters, but fruit is the first word, and fruits, are plants. So it could kind of go either way. Let's see. Then Kel said, I'm not very educated when it comes to fruit, lol. But thankfully, I can just look up top 10 most exotic fruit or something. That is true. Hey, Google, what are the top 10 most exotic fruit?
colorful and vibrantly colored fruit, the pitaya is often called dragon fruit and durian. Want me to tell you more?
No thanks, Google.
Okay, I'm here if you need me.
I heard durians smell like shit. Let's see. Then Matt said, I think the only notable fairy is honest. There's plenty of fairy stuff. Then Matt said, Jet, I hope you know we can't hear any of that. Is that true? Can you guys not hear Google from here? That's crazy. Then Ryan said, in before Shatiel comes down to beat that ass. There are some good not fruit, fuck, fairy cards. They're like the Herald cards. I've heard aren't too bad. And there was a fairy structure deck that dropped maybe last year or the year before that I believe wasn't too bad. Honestly, I don't play fairies, uh, so I can't speak for them too hard. But I've heard, at least from other people, that they're like not bad fairies. I used to play Shining Angel back in the day. Let's see. Ryan said, "Should I build the fairy deck? You should fight Matt with the fairy deck. That's what I want to see." Kel said they're going to be fairy type, and the difference between my cards and the other fruit cards is that my cards are literally just fruit with wings, not anime girls. But you know somebody's going to make some fan art for each of your fruit fairies, Kel's, like variants that are going to have them be anime girls. It's unavoidable. Then your boy Ryan said the counter fairy structure was underwhelming. I'm sorry to hear that. Then Matt said no, because custom cards are broken garbage. Mm. Well, Ryan could face off against you using just normal fairies. Like Ryan doesn't have to use the fruit fairies that Kells are making, just to prove the point that like fairy cards can actually be good. Then Matt said Rule 34 is forever. I think that would have been really funny, Matt, if you were like in before Rule 34. Then Kel said lol. Ryan said could still build a non-custom fairy deck. Yeah, that's what I just said. I feel like Ryan could just build like a normal fairy deck, not custom cards, and then try to beat that ass. Like if you think fairies are garbage, I feel like Ryan could just do that. Mm. And also, what types do you guys think are garbage? Because I feel like the only thing that makes a type garbage is if it has like bad support. Uh, if like the majority of the cards of that type are bad, I don't really think I need more check marks than that. If like everything else counters it, that would also be weird. I'm not. I don't think there's a real example of that, like a type where it just gets beat by all the other types. Um, but I know that there are like a few types that people are like they're probably not that good. Let's see. Then Matt said also, I am not a good measuring stick for obvious reasons. Then Ryan said, you are when you call fairies lame. Then Kel said, divine type only has one monster. Are the god cards not considered divine? Like, are they not all divine? Then Matt said, probably Beast Warrior and Fiend. Then Ryan said, divine is not a type, divine is an attribute. You right. You right, that is true. That is indeed true. Then Kel said, never mind, it's an attribute, not a type. That is true. Yeah, that is Ryan just said that. hmm You had me though. I was thinking you were right for a minute. Matt said Fiend is arguable, since certain archetypes are really good for Fiend. I wouldn't say Fiend is bad. Um, I don't think there's a lot of Beast Warrior stuff. I imagine Gladiator Beast or Beast Warrior, but what's like some good Beast Warrior stuff? I don't play a lot of Beast Warrior, so I can't talk. You know what I mean? Like it's not like from experience. I'm like, oh, Beast Warrior has this and that. Um, if I had to guess what types are like not the best, I would guess like Reptile probably like isn't the best, and like Pyro probably isn't the best. Just like if I'm just trying to guess, I imagine those two probably don't have the most. Let's see. Ryan said Creator God is a type that has one monster. Creator God. That's interesting. Then Ryan said Tinky is good Beast Warrior support. Excuse me. Oh fuck. Um, is Tinky the whole like Phoenix Loop shit, like Fire King stuff? Like, is that Beast Warrior? Because Fire King isn't bad. Fire King stuff's pretty good. Kellis said Dragon is the best type because most of the Odd Eyes cards are Dragon type. Don't Spellcaster and Dragon have like some of the most cards like in Yu-Gi-Oh? Like when it comes to like type monsters? Then Matt said also, I can claim something is bad without actually being good myself. Well, I mean, Matt, if you classify yourself as just being okay and you classify fairy cards as being lame, then being okay would be better than being lame, right? Shouldn't you be able to like good it? I have inhaled this juice. This is an empty container of juice. Matt said, it's the premise of identification skill being separate from actual skill. And then Ryan said, Tinky is a Fire Fist card that can search any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior. Oh, wait a minute. Isn't Tinky like a continuous spell? So it's like a searcher that just like keeps on giving? Because I think I've seen Tinky before. Now that you're like describing it, I feel like it's like ringing a bell. I have so much shit in front of the live chat. Trying to organize my screen so I can Google while I read what you guys say. And then Ryan said Tinky only searches on activation though. Aw, man. For a minute, I thought it was just like a really good searcher. I was like, shit. Surprised I don't see a lot more Beast Warrior stuff. How much money did fucking Shazam make in the box office? It made $139 million. Well, that's domestic. I want to know in the world. $362 million. Well, 362,577,579 in the box office. How does Shazam compare to everybody else in the DCEU? I think it might have grossed the worst. Yeah, it's like dead ass bottom. What about worldwide? Damn, worldwide. Shazam made the least amount of money out of all of them. It just got riggedy wrecked. Justice League made more money than Shazam before it was the worst. And it's like the worst by a lot. Holy fuck. I liked Shazam. My brother said Shazam is like his favorite of like all the DCEU movies. I really fuck with Aquaman and Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad's number 4. Aquaman's number 1. Hey, it was just pretty good. I really liked it. I have that on DVD. I still need to rewatch that. Let's see. Matt said Winged Beast is also a type. They are also bad. Then Ryan said what? And then Matt said get wrecked Shazam. Then Ryan said Black Wings have been a good meta defining deck. Ryan's about to fight the fuck out of you with this Black Wings deck. Are you ready, Matt? Are you ready? Ryan was waiting for you to say some shit about Wing Beasts so he could come after that ass. Matt said, but they're like the only good Wing Beasts. Then Kel said, you know what, I'm gonna start making the art for the archetype right now. Oh, okay, ballin'. It sounds like Kel's getting hype. He's getting ready to make these fruit fairy cards. Then Matt said, I like Black Wings. Ryan said, Harpies, Dragoonides. Then Matt said, why don't you make a new archetype? Excuse me. But that is what Kels is doing. He's making a fruit fairy archetype. Then Ryan's like raid raptors, and then Matt said instead of making them fairies. Well, keep in mind there's a difference between type and archetypes. Archetypes are like in the name, like blue eyes monsters are in the blue eyes archetype, but blue eyes white dragon is a dragon type monster. Kells is making fruit fairies an archetype, but fruit fairies themselves are gonna be fairy type monsters. You know what I mean? Let's see. And then Ryan said, to be honest, the weakest type is rock. Interesting. Then Matt said, Rock is pretty garbage. Forgot it was even a type. He was like, I wasn't ready. What's like the best rock archetype? Like Magnet Warriors? Like what the fuck? Like what even are the rock archetypes? And then Ryan said clearly yokai is the best type. Is yokai the Japanese name for the spirit type? Uh, and also, I've heard spirit monsters aren't too bad. I don't know. I feel like it depends on how you play them and what your deck's like. Meow 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 meow. When's the next ban list for Yu-Gi-Oh? Like when is that dropping? That's normally when Yu-Gi-Oh talk gets too hot. When like they start talking about what cards are getting banned. Um, Another big thing is when they announce a card that everybody thinks is gonna be broken. That's another time where Yu-Gi-Oh talk gets too hot, and I'm ready for that. I'm ready for when like the debates get like pretty high. Then Matt said spirit monsters are great. Then Kel said the Fruit Fairy cards are also going to have cute names like Fruit Fairy Perry and Fruit Fairy Appley. Oh, I see what you did there. I like Fruit Fairy Perry. Mm. Hey, there we go. Got that extra pillow support. Still uncomfortable as fuck. Um, I like laying down on the floor. It's the lying down on my hand that's not comfortable. But then if I just lie down like this, I guess I feel too lazy on camera. I want to be kind of propped up. So I guess I'm going back for the hand. Then Matt said never. Uh, Never what? What did I miss? Then Ryan said yokai. Oh, when's the next ban list is what Matt was reacting to. Then Ryan said yokai is a manga exclusive de jure type. Huh. And then he said Tsukiyomi was a spirit monster though. Okay. What do I want to do? Banned for 12 formats. Jew. Wow. That's pretty deep. Banned for 12 formats. Tsukiyomi. Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's hit that shit up. Let's see. Kel said, nah, man. Laydown streams are dope. They remind me of boyfriend roleplay videos. That's a thing? Now that you say it's a thing, I'm not too surprised that it's a thing. But I am at least initially surprised by that statement. Let's see. Matt said, send Zark to the Shadow Realm, and he corrected it to Zork. Let's look up Tsukiyomi's head ass, who apparently has been banned for 12 formats. Wait a minute. There's a level 4 monster. And it's unlimited. That's not banned. Cannot be special summoned. If this card is normal summoned or flip face up, target one face up monster on the field. Change that target to face down defense position. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summoned or flip face up this turn, return it to the hand. So it tells niggas to sit down and then it leaves. And then Ryan's like it was forbidden. It seems okay. You have to spin your normal summon for it. Then Kel said, praise to our Lord and Savior Zarkun. What's currently going on in the news? First, I'm going to check emo shape news. It's been a minute since I've looked at them. They're the emotional processing unit guys that I have the sponsorship with. Let's see. I don't really think there's too much new. Emo Shape enhances its cutting edge emotion chip with the addition of cloud service. New patent recognizes Emo Shape founder Patrick Levy Rosenthal as inventor of the first emotion chip. Hey, so they got the patent out. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm sure they're like hella hyped for that. Let's see. Ryan said was used to reflip powerful flip effect cards like Magician of Faith or Morphing Jar. Oh, I see. So people used to use it on their own shit. That's an interesting use. Then Matt said, love Magician of Faith. He's pretty hype. Oh, Matt, do you want to meet my girlfriend Beth at some point? Then Matt said, Throw that into fruit magicians. Throw magician. Oh, magician of faith. What does magician of faith do again? Is it like a life point gain thing? And then Matt said, "I'm in Florida. Aren't you coming back to Huntsville for classes?" And then Ryan said, "Meet Beth. I volunteer. Target one spell in your graveyard, add it to your hand." Oh, that's what magician of faith does. And then Matt said, "In August." Yeah, but I'm not really going anywhere right now, Matt. I have. Well, it's weird. I'm waiting for the offer letter, but Millennium has said like, "Hey, we want you to work for us until like September." And then Futures Command is like, "Hey, once you're done working for Millennium, you can start working for us." So by the time you get back, I'll be working for like Futures Command, which is also just in Huntsville. I'll just also just be here. So it just seems like you'll be back from school and I'll be living at like Emerald Ridge. I plan to a couple weeks into working, move into Emerald Ridge, get like a 1 bedroom or potentially do like a 2 bedroom thing with like a roommate, and that'll just be my place. I have been told that I should be making like 60,000, maybe like 62,000, for like my salary or whatever. I'm just kind of in my field now. I'm just doing the cybersecurity stuff that I want to do. But it seems like I can do it here and still fulfill my scholarship obligation. So not like I'm like vanishing or anything, Matt. I'm just asking, do you meet my girlfriend? And then Matt said, I've already met Beth. Oh, you're right. You were there, I guess, when I met Beth. And when like Gerard and Allison and Eric also met Beth. That's interesting. Oh no, you met her at ChargerCon. Oh, because Matt just said she was Jolteon. You right. Then Ryan said, "Where in Florida?" And then Ryan said, "Meet Beth." Yes. Don't worry, Ryan. We'll figure out like a time for you to like meet Beth. We want to do like a group hangout. And then Matt said, "I also met her before ChargerCon at the moment described." Okay, yeah. So yeah, you definitely have met Beth like multiple times. Then Matt said Ryan has also met Beth. Oh right. Yo Ryan, remember Beth from Jolt I mean I almost said from Jolteon. Remember Beth from ChargerCon? She's the girl that I went on the date with at ChargerCon. She was in the cosplay contest. She was dressed as Jolteon. Remember that, Ryan? I like that Matt is like, don't you remember how everyone here has met Beth except Kels? Uh, we have all met Beth. That is true. Let's see. Today at like 3 or 4:30, I gotta check my calendar. I'm gonna be hanging out with Beth on campus. We're gonna do like a study hangout where she like studies for a bit. I hang out with her. Aiden might be stopping by as well, so that we can like study alongside Aiden. I'll probably like read comics while they study like in his lab. Best friend Liliana is gonna like try and come by. She's interested in working at Station Retro with Gerard, which could be interesting. And it would be my first time meeting Liliana since me and Beth have started dating. I actually had a class with Liliana like last semester. Let's see, and that's more or less my plans for Tuesday. I don't have anything set in stone for Wednesday or Thursday. Friday, I'm doing the comic book movie trivia night at Station Retro. They're gonna actually make the questions framed around comic book movies, and I'm gonna be there. My dad's gonna be there. My dad's wife's gonna be there. Gerard is hosting it. Colin's gonna be there. Beth wanted to be there and bring her friend Liliana. She had to cancel. She's like too much studying and stuff that she has to do, and she has to prepare for like a big church thing that's happening Sunday. Saturday is like me and Beth's like date day. We're gonna go on another date on campus at like Charter Union, and like hang out and like spend time together. Then Sunday, like early, like around like 10 a.m. or something, I'm gonna have to like drive like 26 minutes or so to get to like Madison County Trail or whatever, but it's closer to like South Huntsville, it seems like. Even though it's called Madison County Nature Trail. I don't get that. Anyways, they're gonna have this thing called the Green Mountain Service for Beth's church, where she's gonna be like performing. So she like plays drums or whatever. She's gonna be performing for like a church service, and there's gonna be a lunch. So I'm gonna like go and support Beth at that. Then after that, I'm gonna drive like 26 minutes back, change into like some casual clothes, and then go to Steak and Shake. Your boy White David's coming down from Tennessee, and he lives like 2 hours away. So it's a very rare occasion for White David to like be around for us to hang out with him. So I'm gonna try and spend the day with like White David and German Gabby. I haven't seen German Gabby in a hot minute. Aiden may or may not be able to show up. Um, Sunday is just gonna have a lot of driving. I'm not looking forward to the driving Sunday. I think if I could teleport, I would enjoy Sunday a lot more. Also, Saturday, Beth doesn't just want to hang out at like the school. She also wants to like go eat dinner, and she wants to like stop and like get something somewhere. Um, that also feels like a good amount of driving for like Saturday. I'm not a fan of driving. There's too much fucking driving. Matt said meat has a very bad connotation when compared to meat slash met. Then Kel said I met her using astral projection. Then Matt said sit down, Luke. Don't want you dying. And he said also spoiler, sorry not sorry for the fucking the Last Jedi. That's so late. A matter of fact, I feel like if any movie is like fair to be spoiled, I think the Last Jedi, we've had plenty of time. Came out in 2017. It's been like 2 years. Yeah, you can spoil the Last Jedi. Nobody cares, Matt. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. Then your boy Ryan said still need to meet Beth. I guess Ryan's like just meeting her at ChargerCon isn't really the same. I agree. Like I mean, like Matt, do you want to like actually like meet her? Like we like hang out somewhere and we like talk, maybe like do an activity, like maybe like go to like Barnes and Nobles and like walk around and like talk or something or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm asking like do you want to like meet her, not just have like seen her at a place. Like get to know her better. Let's see. And then Matt said people get mad about 5 year spoilers. People get mad about Soylent Green being people. And then Ryan said gasp. Then Kel said, "Yo, is it cool if I spoil Avatar? Like the blue people Avatar, or like Avatar, like the Last Airbender, the M Night Shyamalan movie, or like Avatar, the Last Airbender, the animated series. Excuse me, or Legend of Korra. What Avatar are you talking about?" Let's see. And then Ryan said Soylent Green was people. Then Matt said people get mad the main character, the Sixth Sense, is actually dead. Then Ryan said, "Why would you spoil that, Matt?" Ryan's like, "I actually am upset by that last one." Let's see. What? Oh yeah, news. Time to look up some news. What comics are coming out this Wednesday? I mean, that just, yeah, tomorrow new comics are coming out. I'm kind of down for that. What comics are coming out tomorrow? What am I going to read? And then Ryan said, oh, yeah, nudes. So let's see. Then Matt said, watch Avatar Jet. It's good. Well, I've already seen a good bit of Avatar, Matt. So let's see. Today is the 4th. I want comics that are coming out between today and the 6th. So, Batman issue number 72, I don't give a fuck. Batman and the Ninja Turtles 3, number 2, no thanks. Deceased, just like a zombie event in DC, issue number 2. Dozer said issue number 1 is good. I might read that. Uh, Deathstroke, issue number 44. Deathstroke is dead. So the book is like about his funeral. I might read that. I read the book where he died. Um, Female Furies number 5. Haven't been paying attention to that for shit. Harley Quinn number 62. I've heard people say it's good. I just have no interest in it. Justice League number 25. Fuck yeah, I'm gonna read that. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in like the fucking sixth dimension, and they're explaining how like the multiverse works. It's fucking crazy. Shazam number 6. I've been actively reading Shazam. So yeah, I'm gonna read Shazam number 6. Um, let's see, The Dreaming number 10, which takes place in like the Sandman universe. Haven't really been paying that any attention. Probably not gonna read it. Green Lantern number 8. I kind of need to read all of Green Lantern. So I probably need to go back and read like up to number 8. It's written by Grant Morrison. He's like one of my favorite comic book authors. It's kind of shitty that I haven't been reading Green Lantern. And I read issues number like 3. I almost was going to name two different issues, but I only really remember what happened in issue number 3. And it was pretty good, so I might as well just read all of Green Lantern. It's probably really solid. Young Justice issue number 6. I'm actively keeping up with like the current Young Justice comics, so I'm definitely gonna read that. And Adventures of Super Sons number 11. Haven't been reading Super Sons. I've heard it's really good. I'm kind of not interested. I think right now Super Sons isn't up to date with what's currently happening in Superman's comics. So I just feel like they're doing their own thing now. I don't know how to feel about it. But those are the comics coming out for DC this week and how I feel about each one. Let's see where we at. Where we at? Matt says, "Stop being a hater." Ooh, Matt, strong words from Matt. And then Matt said, "But not all of it." True, I haven't seen all of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Then Ryan said, "Avatar 2." They're gonna start doing the Avatar Blue People movies every other year and doing the Star Wars movies every other year, which I think is a weird flex. I don't think anyone's that excited for the Blue Avatar people to where they feel like it's comparable to a Star Wars film. Matt said Korra is bad. Bad is relative. Then Ryan said Korra was not bad. And then Matt said Electric Boogaloo. Then Ryan said great soundtrack for like Legend of Korra. That's interesting. I've never really sat down and listened to it OST. Kel said, I'm talking about the Blue People one. And I was joking about how Avatar is an old movie that nobody cares about. That's true. He said, I guess my jokes are just too intelligent for you to understand. Ooh, goot him. Goot me. Then Matt said, and meandering plot. And then he said, Avatar is only like 2012. Did you Google it? Or are you like legitimately asking? It's 2009. Avatar is actually pretty old. That's 10 years. Fuck. Let's see. Then Ryan said meandering plot doesn't make it bad. Then Matt said doesn't make it good. And then Ryan just repeats himself. He's like doesn't make it bad. Then Matt said let's also just make a less interesting world by comparison. Um, I don't know how I feel about Blue People Avatar and the fact that it's like getting a sequel. I don't even know what I want out of the sequel. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody here has seen the Blue People Avatar movie. What do you want for like the second one? Like, what do you want to happen in the second one after you've seen the first one? Like, where do you want it to go? And then Ryan said less interesting. I think this is Ryan. I mean, not Ryan. I think this is Matt saying that Legend of Korra, its world was less interesting than the Avatar world. That's also debatable. It's relative. It's like very opinion based. And then Matt said Avatar was bad. I saw Avatar in theaters like 3 times. I saw it like once with my dad, once with my friend Ethan, because he was really hyped for it, and once with Kari for his birthday. By like the third time I was seeing it in theaters, I was like, I'm really done with this movie. I'm like, I don't actually want to be in here the third time. Let's see. And then Ryan said Dances with Wolves was better? Question mark. People say that the Avatar movie was pretty much just Dances with Wolves, but I've never seen Dances with Wolves. Then Matt said Avatar's world was way more fleshed out and well put together. Let's see. So I checked out what all the new releases for DC Comics is going to be this Wednesday. Now it's time to look at poo poo head ass Marvel Comics. See what they're dropping this coming Wednesday for like new comic books. Okay, so I need to go to comics, see what's coming out this Wednesday, or what's already out. Okay, it has June 5th releases. So I'm already going to start off by saying I'm probably not going to read most of these. but I'm gonna read the titles and say whether or not I would read them. Probably wouldn't. Let's see. Matt said Korra is a city and shoehorned spirit world merging. Also, Korra and Asami are a thing because why not? I mean, I don't know. I didn't really like watch past season one, and I've seen bits and pieces of the other seasons, so I can't really talk toward Korra too hard. You know what I mean? Like whether or not like I'm really with it or really not with it. Then Tangent said, "Oof, yo Tangent, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream?" Tangent said, the Tangent said, "Just popping in, mates. Yo, welcome. Good to have you." He said he's doing good. Oh, that's great to hear. Right now, I'm looking at like the new releases for Marvel Comics. Uh, Matt is talking about how he feels like Avatar: The Last Airbender was better than Legend of Korra, and also how he feels like the Blue People Avatar movie was bad. And Ryan is defending Legend of Korra somewhat. Let's see. Then Matt said also Amon was wasted. So they got some War of the Realms books, like War of the Realms New Agents of Atlas #3. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't really care. Marvel's War of the Realms Journey into Mystery #4. Also, don't give a flying fuck. They seem to have True Believers, the new Spider-Man #1, True Believers Spider-Man Spider Armor #1, and True Believers Amazing Spider-Man #1. I'm gonna look at the Armor Spider-Man one. Oh, I tried to open it in a new tab and I fucked up. I just didn't. Oh, it's just a reprint. The all three of those are just reprints of old books. Cool. So no, I'm not gonna read any of those because they're just old shit that I don't care about right now. Tangent said, and one question: did you know orcas will body slam blue whales? I've seen whales do the like fucking like jump thing. I didn't know that like whales body slammed other whales. That sounds like an intense fight of giants. Imagine being on a cruise ship and it getting fucking body slammed by a whale. I think that'd be insane. Let's see. Ryan said Korra and Asami are a thing because Korra cut everyone off for months except Asami. Then Tangent said, "Now I must descend back to hell where I came from, because all wildebeests are actually demons." He's giving us these fun facts. Ryan said they became a couple through their letters. Then Tangent said, "Yo, the Legend of Korra, whatever's pretty cool." Then Matt said, "But that's actually silly when compared to like Mako." Then Ryan said, "Yeah, orcs are S tier. Tier zoo, A." Then Matt said, "Also, these letters don't imply any sort of love." And then Ryan's like, "They do." Tangent's hitting us up with these face emojis, multiples. We got Guardians of the Galaxy Annual #1. I'm not going to read that. We got Incredible Hulk Last Call #1. Now, I don't really read Hulk comics, but if there was any way to get me into Hulk comics, it would probably be a #1 issue, my nigga. Let's go. So let's read the description for this one. Hulk legends Peter David and Dale Keown reunite. In this 12-year stint on The Incredible Hulk, Peter David redefined the Green Goliath for generations of fans and creators. Artist Dale Keown drew some of that run's most beloved and influential issues. Now, the pair return to their incredible collaboration for a special oversized one-shot issue. Bruce Banner is tired of being the Hulk. Heck, he's tired of being. But just when he's about to lose all hope, a miracle occurs. A fight worthy of the Incredible Hulk. And it's called The Incredible Hulk Last Call. So it's a one shot? I don't know if that makes me more or less interested. I was hoping it was the start of a new series. Everyone's saying the Immortal Hulk is really good. I'm like, if Immortal Hulk's really good, maybe I'll really fuck with this, but now I don't know. Let's see, where we at? Matt said the only bits of implication for this love are very sparse and ultimately just dump the end result on us. And then Ryan said, I used to think that. Interesting. That shows that Ryan used to agree with Matt, but certain things have changed his perspective on it. Tangent said, Yo, I'm gonna say before I go, your beard is like the best thing ever. Even better than your great bison overlord. Thank you. I'm glad that you like the beard. I appreciate it. Uh, I keep it clean. Shampoo it every day. That and the dreads. Gotta keep it clean. Let's see. And then Ryan said, but then I started reading Turf Wars. should really finish it. Isn't Turf Wars like the comic that like continues afterwards? Let's see. Then Matt said, Ryan, you aren't going to intellectual me into believing Korra is anything but bad. Why is everyone getting on to Ryan about intellectualism? I'm not even sure if intellectualism is a word, but everyone keeps calling him an intellectual in like a negative way, and it's really weird. I don't understand that. Then Ryan's like, what? And then Matt said, and yeah, I know about Turf Wars, and ER has a nice teardown of it. ER shits on a lot of stuff. ER's videos of Korra make me somewhat more interested in actually watching Korra. Um, I do think the Avatar Wand stuff was weird, but some of the stuff he shits on for like later seasons of Korra makes me go, oh shit, I actually kind of want to see it. I actually think it's probably not that. That didn't seem that bad. That actually sounds kind of cool. Let's see. And then Ryan said ER with his fascist jokes. There's a guy who's very similar to ER on YouTube who did like an analysis of ER where he talks about whether or not he feels like ER actually is joking or not joking about stuff. I thought it was interesting because his channel felt like a copycat of the kind of stuff ER does, but it was like a meta thing because he was doing an ER style breakdown of the way that ER like does things in his videos. I thought it was really odd. Tangent said, "Adios, mi amigos," and like the fucking vid or the wildebeest devil baby will cut off your or oxygen, and then you'll think subbing to T series is okay. Oop, hope you have a wonderful night, Tangent. Thank you for tuning in. Always good to have you. Feel free to come back. Always good to see you. Matt said the reason intellectual was brought in was because of the "I used to think" that line. Interesting. I don't know. That was weird. And then Kel says very unconfidently, uh, I like Korra. Yeah, like I think Legend of Korra is like okay. I liked season one. I felt like the end of season one was rushed. It was kind of weird. Then Ryan said, I did used to not like the ending of Korra, but then I got over it. Nani said, I'm late, Nick. Yo, Nani. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on this stream? Tangent put up a smiley face, like blushy emoji. Black Cat number one is going to come out this Wednesday. I don't know how to feel about it. Looks like it's a first issue, so it may be a good place for me to jump in if I ever care about Black Cat. I don't think I care about Black Cat though. She's more or less just a cat burglar. I don't give a fuck. Let's see, there's a Marvel team up number three, Spider Man and Miss Marvel. To be honest, might read that. That didn't seem that bad. This actually sounds like a cool concept. Um, Hot Shots number four. It's a book that has like Domino in it. Actually, it's Domino Hot Shots number four. Don't know if I'd read that or not. I'm mentally debating it. I'm not even gonna read the description. Cosmic Ghost Rider kills, destroys Marvel history. Looks really crazy. I think I'm just gonna wait for the comic story in on that. Meet the Scrolls number five. Don't really care. Just gonna skip right past it. Captain Marvel number six. I don't really keep up with Captain Marvel. Savage Avengers number two. Whoa, what? What? Oh shit. Oh shit. Click that. What the fuck? The Hand teamed up with the evil wizards of the Hyborian Age to summon a death god from a celestial hell. The only thing standing between Earth and destruction is the Savage Avengers, Conan, Wolverine, Punisher, and Voodoo. What the fuck? What? What? And there's a genie in it? And Wolverine gives his blood to somebody else? What the fuck you mean Conan's on an Avengers team? With Wolverine, Punisher, and Voodoo? I I would try Savage Avengers number one and see how it is, and then see whether or not I want to read number two. Conan on an Avengers team? What the fuck is this? That's just kind of interesting. Old Man Quill. I don't give a fuck about Star Lord or Old Man Logan. And it's like, what if we did Old Man Logan but a Star Lord? I give no shits. Uncanny X Men number 19. Uh, X Men, sometimes I'll try to drop in on it just to see what the fuck's going on. I'll like read the description and see if that's worth it. Let's see, Nani then's an intellectual. Matt said, but this isn't a getting over it thing. It's just bad. And then Ryan's like, bad how? Then Nani said, how you been, Nick? Oh, fantastic as always. Thank you for asking. Well, today has been mainly me practicing programming concepts. I've been writing a story as of like later in the night. Um, how many pages am I into that story? I'm gonna pull up the story real quick. I still haven't thought of a name for it, but it starts off and it's this guy who wants to find a wizard to turn him into a dragon, and the wizard more or less is like, "Nigga, that's stupid. Like, why are you trying to do like some dumb shit?" And then the guy reveals that like his family was murdered or whatever, but indirectly. Like he doesn't just straight up reveal that his family was murdered. The wizard kind of figures it out, and the wizard offers the guy help, and the guy's like, I don't really like want help with like the family thing. I'm just trying to become a dragon because dragons can do whatever they want. And then the wizard's like, um, what do you mean dragons can do whatever they want? They're just kind of like big ass beast. Like no one really wants to be a dragon. They're just kind of weird. He's like, why don't you just live a normal life? And then the guy's like, why live a normal life? He's like, you don't live a normal life. You like live on a fucking mountain and you like cast magic spells. And he's like, I still work a job though. He's like, I make potions and I like sell them to people. Like I still like make a living. And he's like, that's just fucking boring. He's like, I didn't know that that's what you do. And the wizard tries to stop the boy because he thinks the boy's gonna get himself hurt because he thinks that he's trying to become a dragon to like get vengeance for like his fallen family or whatever. But then he realizes that he can't just keep the boy from going anywhere because he's like, well, that's kind of not my place, and I can't really stop him from doing what he wants to do. So he lets the boy go. But now the boy's gotten into trouble because the person who like killed his family is now like trying to kill him, and the wizard shows up to try and save the boy. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I've only written like 7 pages though. I'm gonna try and make sure that the story is at least like 24 pages, and then publish it. So that's what I just described was maybe like 1/8 of the story. I still have like 7/8 of the story that I still need to write. Let's see. Matt said, you don't get over something being bad. You get over the distaste of something that is bad. Well, I think it's possible for you to think something's bad and then for someone to change your opinion. Like for someone to bring up something and you think about it differently and then you'd be like, oh, it actually like isn't as bad as I thought. Maybe there were these details I didn't really understand or pay attention to that in hindsight, the story is actually better than I originally thought. That is something that can just happen potentially, depending on what it is. You know what I mean? And it's still all opinion based. You know, bad is very relative. Let's see. And then Ryan said, or you realize it's not bad. Then Matt said, there isn't a sudden epiphany though. Even if there was, it doesn't save the majority of Korra, thus making it bad. Mm. Then Nani said, I feel. Then Ryan said, the majority of Korra is good. And then Nani said, is Korra a lesbian? Then Ryan said, yes. And Matt also said, yes. And then Ryan said, so was Avatar Kyoshi. Matt said, if Turf Wars is what changes the opinion, then everything before that point within the vacuum was bad. If that is the case, an epiphany may be reached in Turf Wars. That's not necessarily true, Matt. Um, for example, imagine that you only like watch the first 2 acts of a movie and then you're like, this movie isn't that good. It seems like kind of like sloppy and there are like loose ends that like don't really make any sense and they try to indicate that things are going one way but they don't really foreshadow it enough or provide enough evidence that things would end up like this. And then the third act of the movie starts and they start tying shit together. Stuff that you didn't understand before starts making more sense, and then you're like, oh shit, like overall the movie was actually pretty good. I just didn't have the full story. That's potentially what Turf Wars could be. It potentially could be a thing where you're like, I saw like the majority of the movie and it didn't make any sense, but like this third act ties in everything that I was having problems with, and in the end it like wasn't actually as bad as I thought. You know what I mean? It's possible. Shit like that can happen. Let's see. Ryan said it wasn't just Turf Wars. Then Matt said, but it doesn't recontextualize the entirety of Korra into making it good. It could. It could. There are some killer like, cause I've read stuff before and been like, this isn't that good, and then you get farther in it and go, oh shit. Like I'm on like issue number 9 of Lobo. And I'd say the first half of Lobo, I was like, this is okay, but it could be a lot better. And then like the second half that I'm currently in, I'm like, oh shit, it just is. It just is good. Like the stuff that I didn't care for as much at the beginning was just building up to where the story currently is. So it set the foundation for what like now is actually just better. And I just really fuck with it. That's like that just can happen. You know what I mean? Let's see. Kel said that's a pretty neat story. Oh, cool, Kels. I'm glad that you're liking the story that I'm writing so far. Like I said, I'm only 7 pages in, so there's a lot more that I like still need to write. Um, let's see. Then Ryan said the entirety of Coral was always good. He says some of it was watching people like ER and coming to the idea that they are full of shit. Then Nani said na 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 na, and then I think he's quoting a song. I think I'm not sure. Then Kel said, "Is it possible to like something but still recognize its flaws? That is possible. I like the game Tenshu Z. It was a game where, as I played it, I was like, this game is ass. I don't like it. This is like a bullshit game. I beat Tenshu Z. I pulled out a notebook and I like did pros and cons for the game, and I was like, fuck. Tenshu Z definitely has its problems, but overall, after having played through like the whole experience, I really fucked with this game. And then I found another Tenshu game in my brother's closet for like PlayStation 2, and then I played that whole ass game. So yeah, there are definitely things where even throughout the whole experience, you can be like, "This was kind of ass," and then at the end be like, "Damn, that was worth it. That was pretty good." Like it definitely has its problems, but I definitely like enjoyed it in the end. So that just is a thing that can happen. Kel said, or even think that something is good in a different way, if that makes sense. And I definitely agree with that. Like good in a different way. I fuck with Winx Club. I think Winx Club is like pretty bad, but it's still enjoyable for what it is. Like I don't enjoy Winx Club the same way that I enjoy like Ben 10 or The Magicians or Constantine, but even though I don't enjoy it in the same way, that doesn't mean that I would say that it's like garbage. Like it's good for different reasons. It's good like shit on material. Like you can make fun of Winx Club, but even then there are still elements of its story where I'm like, "Oh, like this is actually like kind of interesting if they like did it better." Excuse me. There are now Winx Club videos on YouTube that you can find that are like the complete story of one character, and it just takes all the scenes one character is in and just like compiles them together. So if you wanted to follow like one specific character, you could, which I think is odd. But it's also kind of interesting. I don't know. People do that for Game of Thrones too, though I don't fuck with Game of Thrones. I might fuck with individual character stories of Game of Thrones though, like those compilations. I think that might be more interesting. Then let's see. Then Matt said Turf Wars was unneeded fluff. He said the ending of the show was a panning shot of Korra and Asami going into the spirit world. Then Ryan said it's possible. I haven't finished reading Turf Wars. Then Matt said it isn't a metaphorical third act. Why not? Then Ryan said, I think I finished the first volume. Then Matt said, yes, Kels. Yes, Kels. Oh, yes, to what Kels was saying earlier. I also agree with that, Kels. Matt said Chivalry of a Failed Knight is a personal 7 out of 10, but it's probably actually around like a 5 out of 10. He said also The Room is the prime example of this. Because The Room is notoriously considered like a bad movie, but a lot of people enjoy it because it's like something that like, even though the film might be bad, it's like fun to shit on. Trolls 2 is another film that like a lot of people watch to like shit on, but they're like it's a bad movie, but it's enjoyable to shit on it. Plan 9 from Outer Space is like another one that's like that. There are plenty of movies and TV shows and stuff where you're like, this is like kind of garbage, but that's like the fun of it. That's what I enjoy about it. And it's like so good at being bad that you would rather watch this and make fun of it than maybe something else and make fun of it. Let's see. Ryan said the prequels I find to be a good example. Interesting, of like stuff that's like so bad it's good kind of thing. Then Nani said, is the character a Nick one or a killer one? And then he said, with Game of Thrones being. Oh, wait. Ryan said, with Game of Thrones being over, I kind of want to read the books. Dad recently just bought like a whole bunch of Game of Thrones books, which I told him was a bad idea. He's like, I got them in bulk, so I just bought like a whole bunch of them for like $30. So instead of buying them like the first book and just seeing if he likes it, he has like a whole bunch of them now that he spent $30 on. And I'm like, what if you don't like or finish the first book, so you never get to the other ones? You know what I mean? I just feel like it was a weird investment. I don't think I would want to ever buy like the complete set of like novels or for something. I think I've only ever tried to do that for like comic books. Like if I could find multiple issues in a row of like an old series that I'm interested in reading, I've bought them in bulk before. I think whole ass novels, you could take that one at a time with the greatest of ease. You really don't have to invest that extra money to be like, oh, I'm gonna buy like 6 books like right now and just hope I like the first one. I just think that's kind of weird. Nani said, what is Gang of Groans? Is it about UK people? Then Ryan said, nah, it's about English people. And then Nani said, why was it a bad idea about the books? Because he may not like the first one. So then buying all the rest would be kind of weird. Then Ryan said, no, the prequels being good but having flaws. Oh, okay, that's understandable, Ryan. Then Nani said, now he had the collection of it. Well, has the collection. But what if he doesn't like it? It just seems weird to jump the shark that hard. Plus, when I used to buy comics, like get multiple in a row of like the same series to try it, I was like buying from like the 25 cent, 50 cent bin. I wasn't spending like $30 to get 6 long ass books that I may never finish, excuse me, or enjoy. You know, if I bought like 5 comics of like an old comic series for 25 cents each, I only spend like $1.25 plus tax. And then if I don't like the first book, I don't feel like I wasted $30. Plus, it's a quick read. You can very quickly read that first book if it's like comic books and figure out like, oh, maybe, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have bought the rest of these books. But like for the Game of Thrones thing, Dad could potentially put hours into that first book before he goes, oh, I just actually don't like this. You know what I mean? Let's see. Ryan said now that the series is over, he can finish the book series. Then Matt said, I mean, liking the show's premise should mean the books will at least be feasible to get through. From what I've heard, Matt, I personally have only seen the first 3 episodes of Game of Thrones and not read any of the books. I've heard in the books are very flowery. Your boy will do stuff like if there's like a dinner, he'll describe like the entire great hall and like all the tables and chairs and like all the fucking food everybody's eating and like what niggas are wearing. Like the books aren't only long, but they like have like a lot of like description filler where it's like you need to know that the third seat at the fourth round table in the corner of the room is made of mahogany oak with a dragon inscription branded from like a devil's horn, you know, like stupid shit that like you like I've heard that the show, because it's a show, is really good at being like we don't have any of that extra flowery shit. You can just get the plot. And even then, from my experience watching the show and also from other people talking about the show, I only have seen 3 episodes, but from other people talking about it, the show is really fucking slow. And it doesn't have the extra filler. People who watch the show are like, the show is slow. It is like a lot of build up. But the book sounds even slower. I wouldn't want to fuck with that at all. That just sounds bad. I just, ooh, gross. My goodness. Let's see. Then Ryan said, I never want, oh wait. Then Ryan said, I never watched the show. Then Matt said, it's not the same argument as liking a hero. and not liking a specific run of it. Well, what I'm saying, Matt, about like the comic book thing is that I in the past have done something similar to Dad, where I buy like six like books of a series and then see if I like it. But the types of books that we're buying are really different. Like I disagree with the concept of doing it with novels because it seems like a bad investment. If you don't like that first book, not only did you spend a significantly higher amount of money per book, but you also just have like wasted like more like shelf space and you're like never gonna like read those other books. If I bought like five comics of a series and I read the first comic, it could take me like at most 15 minutes. And that comic must have been crazy for it to take me 15 minutes to get through like a single issue. Let's say it does. I can very quickly know, like maybe I didn't like that. Or maybe I did like that and I like want to keep going. You know what I mean? And with comics, if you do go fuck it, I'll just see if the second book is better. That at most is just another 15 minutes. Again, that's a heavy exaggeration, but at most is just like another 15 minutes just like reading through it. You know what I mean? Dad could spend hours on that first book, not know if he likes it or decides he doesn't like it. You know what I mean? And then if he doesn't like it, he spent significantly more money compared to like me spending like 50, well not 50, like 25 cents per book trying out an old comic series. Him trying out this big book series, putting in like $30 for all these books that he just may not like. I just think it's weird. I just don't think it's probably, it just doesn't make sense to do in my opinion because he's just making a big assumption that he's gonna like it and that he's gonna read all those books. Maybe not. Just saying. Then Ryan said, which is why for my birthday I asked for only the first book. Hey, there you go, Ryan. I'm glad that you didn't ask for the whole ass series because you just may not actually want to read the whole ass series. Nani said the show is done now. Yeah, the Game of Thrones show has like ended. Matt said the Game of Thrones books and show should be a very similar by the numbers comparison until it hits the point that the show wanted to branch off. That's also debatable because it's just hard to tell. Let's see, Nani said, why describe it? So does it describe sex scenes? I think so. Haven't read it. Haven't read the books. Can't say too much about them, other than what I've heard from other people. Then Matt said, Jet, it sounds like the books are a turnoff for you, and you feel that should make it a turnoff for your dad. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that because I wouldn't like the books, that dad wouldn't like the books. What I'm saying is he probably shouldn't have bought all those books together because he doesn't know if he even likes the first one. You know what I mean? He may not like the first one, which means he wouldn't like the rest of them necessarily. Well, not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean he wouldn't like the rest of them, but it might mean that he wouldn't actually want to read the rest of them. Also, Dad's just done stuff like this in the past. He'll go online and it'll be like critically acclaimed graphic novel or critically acclaimed series of graphic novels. And dad will be like, oh snap, and buy like five graphic novels based around like characters that no one's ever heard of by like independent publishers and shit. And then he'll read like the first few pages of like the first graphic novel and then go, oh, I don't want to read any of these other graphic novels. It's just a thing he's done in the past. And that wasn't even like a long novel. That wasn't like a long like novel. That was like a comic essentially, just big comics. He bought like 5 or 6. I think he read like a little bit of the first one and was like, "Oh, I just actually don't like this." He also bought into the hype of Batman the Black Mirror or whatever. It was like critically acclaimed Batman graphic novel. And then he started it and he's like, it just wasn't that good. I don't know why they say it's critically acclaimed. It's just not a good book. And I'm like, just stop trusting people saying a book is critically acclaimed. Like, actually, just only get into these books if you've like tried the first one and you know you like it. Don't just buy a whole bunch of books. I just feel like it's easy for him to get burned on it again. Nani said, "Is the show worth to watch?" I personally would say no. I couldn't get into it. I know people who have gotten into it and they like really like it. I'd say just try it. Like I can't really speak for you. I can't say that you would like dislike it or like it. I just know in my opinion, I thought the first 3 episodes were boring. I felt like there was a certain character that I liked, but the story jumps around between a whole bunch of characters. So if you only like one nigga, then I don't think you're gonna like enjoy the show because they're not gonna spend their time only looking at the nigga you like. So if you don't like anybody else, then the story's just not interesting. I had a similar issue with Fate Stay Night. There was like one guy that I thought was interesting. I didn't like any of the other characters, but the story didn't focus on that one guy, so I didn't really care about Fate Stay Night. That just can happen sometimes. It depends on like how writers want to like do their stories. That just can occur. Right now, I'm really fucking with Lobo. Like I said, I'm on issue number 9 because the villain is so good. But I'm curious if I'm gonna still like it once this villain inevitably goes away, if they go away. You know what I mean? That can just happen. You can just like particular characters and not like everything else. Let's see. Nadia then said, "Sorry about that." Where the fuck am I at? Here we go. Kel said, "Well, I was really curious about that chair." For the Game of Thrones thing. Ryan's like crackhead. Then Matt said, "Apparently not. If the ending being bad is to be believed." True. A lot of people say that the Game of Thrones show did not end well. I recommend the Cosmonaut Variety Hour video. I watched that. Didn't watch more than 3 episodes of Game of Thrones. I watched the Cosmonaut Variety Hour video where he like talks about the end of Game of Thrones and why it was bad, and it was a really good ass video. Really fucked with it. Should check it. You could definitely check it out. Check out his channel. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Right now, my top 3 YouTubers, top 4, I guess. Shit, top five YouTubers. Right now, off the top of the dome, no particular order. Cosmonaut Variety Hour, Caleb City, Video Game Donkey, RDC World, Comic Pop. Top 5 YouTubers. If like a new video of any of them appears in like my subscription feed, more likely than not, I'm gonna click it. Game on. Let's see. Then Nani said, "By curious, you mean?" And then Ryan said, "Head equals crack." And then Ryan said, "That chair had Maddie's water bottle, which was left in, but will be removed digitally." Yeah, they left a Starbucks cup in a scene in Game of Thrones. Let's see. Nani said Ryan the virgin politician versus Matt the hate slash GT is canon. Who will win? And then Ryan said win it what? And then Nani said fighting slash debates. Then Ryan said still vague. Nani said what does Beth think about the water bottle? Well, hey guys, welcome back to Jack's girlfriend gifts. Today we're gonna talk about Beth's gifts. So Beth for my birthday got me a Goku vinyl pop figure and a How to Draw Marvel Characters book. Now, I will say, I'm glad that these particular gifts had something to actually do with my interest. That's pretty nice. She knows that I fuck with like Dragon Ball, and she knows that I fuck with superheroes. If I have any critiques about the gifts, like if I was to give a critique, um, I like action figures. I'm not a fan of like pop figures. Like with an action figure, I would like pull that nigga out the box and then I could do like stop motion animation with it. Or sometimes when I write stories, I like to play with action figures to think through like fight scenes and think through like character interactions and stuff. Because that's what I used to do as a kid, to like make up stories. You would like play with toys. And I feel like that helps me even now for like storytelling and like story writing and shit like that. I feel like a pop figure is just something I just have. You just put it on a shelf or something. You don't really do anything with it. So if I was to critique the pop figure specifically, I'm like, cool that it's like Dragon Ball. I think that's cool, and I'm glad that you got it. I just feel like if it was like an action figure instead of a pop figure, I'd really fuck with it. There's just a lot more I can do with it. And then for the How to Draw Marvel Characters book, it is true that I don't know how to draw. But I also don't think that I'm gonna put the time in to like actually draw those bitches out and like go through that book and like learn how to draw Marvel characters. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I actually saw at Barnes and Nobles the other day. Stan Lee has a book. Rest in peace. Stan Lee has a book that's like how to write Marvel comics. I saw that and I was like, damn, I actually would prefer that book. I actively write and publish books all the time, and writing is something that I actually like vibe with and would like to like learn more about. So I would fuck with that book. So I think Beth's gifts came from like the right place. She like understood the kind of stuff that I liked and like tried her best to like oblige. I just would have preferred, instead of a pop figure, an action figure, and instead of a how to like draw book, a how to write book. I think if she had like given me like those instead, I would have been like, wow, these are like some good ass gifts. I just would have been like pretty impressed. I'm still like impressed. Past girlfriends have given gifts, but not as close to my interest, so I appreciate it. So yeah, I think she did a pretty good job. Let's see. Where we at? Then Ryan said, does she even know about the bottle? I don't think she does. Then Nani said, why are you shitting on your dad? I'm not shitting on my dad. My dad's shitting on himself by buying too many books before he knows if he likes them. I'm just saying. Then Nani said, he made you. Let's see. Where we at? Then Ryan said, Jit's dad needs to drive the car before he buys all his books. Then Ryan said, he made half a jet. Then Ryan said top three, top four, top five, top 10. Nani said, make a stream where you burn the water bottle. My goodness. It's still practical. I can still use the water bottle. Then Nani said, wow, best gift so far? And then Ryan said, Marvel characters. Then Nani said, why haven't you shown us the gifts? I think I have, like, in a past stream. The, like, Marvel book and the pop figure. I have them. Ryan said, pics or they didn't happen. Nani said, wow, being rude like Ryan when he just leaves without saying bye. Ryan said, I usually come back, though. Then Nani said, but when you come back, you just leave again without saying bye. And then Ryan said, next time I see Jet, he gets a hug. Ryan has said that before. I am holding you to that, Ryan, on that return hug. Wait a minute, Ryan. Your birthday's coming up. Your birthday's coming in how many days? Birthday's coming in, don't tell me, 7, 8, 9, 9 days. Okay, Ryan, what do you want for that birthday? Me and Winslow have given each other a $50 budget where I'll like spend $50 for like what he wants for his birthday. And he's gonna hit me up with like $50 for what I want for my birthday. Hit me up with like your budget, Ryan. What's your budget? If you're like, give me a gift within like this range of amount of money, um, and if you like reciprocate, if you're like, I'll hit you up for your birthday, similar budget, then I'll hit you up with like a birthday gift. I feel like it's fair when you do the equal budget thing. That's something that I've been vibing with recently. I'm more than happy to like reciprocate. As long as it is an equal budget thing. Maddie kind of burned me on the equal budget thing with the bottle. That was not equal. That was bullshit. Let's see. Nani said hug of forgiveness, and he said, "Can I see the pop? Is it those small looking toys?" No, it's like a normal size pop. And he said like of anime and stuff. Then Ryan said my birthday anniversary's coming up, and then Ryan said I didn't get you anything, so $0. I mean that's fair. I'll be right back. I'll bring the gift or whatever, and I might get like a bottle of water. By might, I mean I just will get a bottle of water. So my first thought was, there's no water in this fridge. And then I saw a bottle of water in the fridge. And I'm like, I don't know if that's mine because it's like already open. So I just got a bottle of water from next to the fridge. I'm drinking that great value purified drinking water. So shout out to Walmart brand. This is from the side of the fridge, so unrefrigerated, bottled Walmart water. I think it's safe to say that it doesn't taste like anything. I don't feel like I taste like plastic, nor do I feel like I taste like minerals or anything like that. Seems refreshing. It's not like refrigerated cold, but it doesn't taste bad. Went down the wrong pipe. Drinking on a slant. Probably shouldn't drink while lying down. Don't try this at home. Dangerous. But all in all, not bad water. It doesn't taste like it's unrefrigerated. Like it seems not like cold cold, but still like chilled. I'd say it says with flavor enhancing minerals. Bullshit. Okay. So I almost gave them a pretty good score. But these bitches say there's flavor enhancing minerals in here. Enhancing the flavor of what? I don't taste anything. If I am tasting something, I don't know how to describe it. I don't think I am. I guess if I could describe it, maybe it's those fucking flavor enhancing minerals. I don't fucking know. Let's see where we at. Let's see. Nani said, but you can still give each other something. Then Ryan said, bullshit bottle is the is its name now. The bullshit bottle. Nani said, wow, greedy Ryan, only for him sled. Or only for himself. Then Nani said, you're those characters where they're out for themselves, but in IRL. Then Ryan said, Ryan is a socialist, so I will accept -$1. Is -$1 the equivalent of giving me $1? Then Nani said, why are you trying to taste water? You good? Then Ryan said, -1 in quarters. Then Nani said, imagine Ryan. Then Ryan said, tastes like waters, plural. And then Ryan said, false advertising. Then Kel said, it's water flavored. So this is the Dragon Ball Z Funko Pop that Beth got me. The light is fucking up you guys' ability to see it because it's in this plastic ass box. But it's Goku. He's wearing the fucking orange and black jacket, so he's like not wearing a gi. His eyes are kind of weird. He's Super Saiyan. Um, Looking at the back of the box, the other options were like Videl, Android 17, Android 18, Yamcha with Puar, or King Kai with like bubbles. I would have preferred Android 17 or Yamcha with Puar. If I had a choice between different pop figures, out of like this particular set of Dragon Ball pop figures. But yeah, that's all the stuff. Let's see. Nani said, yeah, those pops. He said, why you open it? I actually haven't opened this bitch up. The little tab at the top is moved. I didn't do that though. I don't think I've tried to open this at all. Uh, might have gotten it from the store like that. She had this all like in a bag when she gave it to me for my birthday. I don't have the bag anymore. Let's see. Then Ryan said, but you need to feel it to fap. Then Nani said, I have like 30 so far. Funko Pops? I'm not really a Funko Pop guy, so I don't really care about that in particular, but good for you. I'm glad that you like enjoy those. And this is the How to Draw Marvel Comics book, or How to Draw the Marvel Way. I used to check a book like this out of the library when I was a little kid all the time. I fucking loved it. But I didn't actually use it to draw. I just used to check it out to like look at the characters in the book. I didn't ever use it to draw or to learn about drawing. Um, but hey, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty interesting how they're able to like draw people. But that's the thing. Anyways, let's see. Nani says better when it's in the box. He said don't open Nick. I'm not gonna open. There's nothing I can do with it if I did open it. That's my thing. Um, I prefer instead of getting Funko Pops to get like actual action figures, so I can actually play with them to help me when I'm like writing stories, or to use for like stop motion to do for like videos. Then Ryan said instant transmission it back in the box. Then Nani said don't be a Ryan and not say goodbye. Let's see. But these are not bad gifts. I like that Beth like put like thought into the gifts, um, and that she's like, what are things that I think he'd like based off of his interest? Cause like the Pokemon keychain that I have, I don't fuck with Pokemon. I got that from Second Gabby. That's just a thing. Um, the water bottle I got from Maddie, it's red. That's my favorite color. That's like the closest that gets to like any connection. And I already had a water bottle. It's not like I needed another one. Let's see. Now, if I had to pick between like the three starter Pokemon that are like in like the basic like Pokemon head ass game, so like Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or like Charmander or whatever, I would probably pick Squirtle or Charmander. So at least it's better than a Bulbasaur, whatever. And then first Gabby actually spoiled me on gifts a lot, at least for Christmas. She always forget my birthday, but she'd go hella hard on Christmas. But even when she went hella hard on Christmas, I feel like she did give me a good Dragon Ball shirt. One of my Dragon Ball shirts is from First Gabby, and I thought that was actually like a good pick. I still buy Dragon Ball shirts to this day. So that's probably one of the best gifts where I like actually like still use it and shit. I will say that I'm gonna keep this pop figure, but I'm never gonna do anything with it. And I'm gonna like keep the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book, but I probably would prefer the How to Write Marvel Comics book. I'd probably prefer like an action figure. But I feel like I could just tell Beth that, and then she'd be like, cool, in the future, I just know what you'd prefer. And I feel like it would just work out, and she'll just give better gifts. So I think that's fine. Still think these are good gifts, though. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's see. Nani said, did Colin do anything lately? And then Ryan said he had a fight with Aiden. And then Nani said, don't be too loud. I have work. And then chill. And then he's like, wait, really, Ryan? And he said, a fight? Why? And he said, like a fist fight or what? And then Ryan said, like an argument or something. And then Nani said, but why? And then Ryan said, I wasn't there, obviously. And then Nani said, then how you know? Because I already talked about it earlier on the stream. So they had like a disagreement and they like talked it out. I've always like respected Colin. I feel like I respect him even more after the talk that he had with Aiden. Like I said near the beginning of this video, I feel like it just all depends on whether or not the things that were discussed and like how Colin said that he's like gonna do better. Like if he actually does do those things, you know what I mean? If he does stand by like what he said, and he does like improve and things improve in general, then I feel like that'd be great. Uh, if things don't improve, then I feel like that'll lead into like future talks, and hopefully things will improve. But the talk ended up going really well between like Aiden and Colin last night. I was there for it, and I was like, "Ooh, this was like a good talk. I'm glad they had this talk." Um, my only complaint about the talk, I guess, was it felt kind of short, but they were having it so late at night they couldn't really afford to have the talk go longer than it did. So that's how that went. Um, I still don't know how I feel about like the Colin thing. Me and Colin had a talk not too long ago. Seems like for the most part, Colin's not doing the things that he said he was gonna stop doing, which is good. And there was only one example where he really did like do something that he said that he wasn't gonna do before, but he hasn't done it again since. I think if he does do the whole like you have to do something thing again, I'm just gonna bring it up to him. But he's only done that once simply since we had to talk about it, so I think it'll be fine. Um, Colin since then has done like a few interesting like jokes and put downs, like at my expense that I think are like weird. But I don't necessarily think there's like a pattern yet. There is a little bit of a pattern. He did a few that were all related to me making money. I thought that was odd. I don't know if that's gonna be a trend, but if it is, I guess I'll just bring it up to Colin. Um, but it's happened on like three separate occasions, so we'll see if that like happens to happen again. Um, but for the most part, I think things with Colin are good. He did very well when we played fighting games the other day. He didn't get too upset. He did get upset at at least a couple things. I know when we played Soul Calibur 6, uh, Colin got upset because he's like, "You picked this stage." Because I got like a ring out on Colin where Colin like fell out of like the ring. He's like, "You picked this stage." And then I was like, I don't remember picking this stage. And he's like, well, it sure wasn't random. And I'm like, why does he think it's not random? Like, I haven't played Soul Calibur 6 in a hot minute. It's not a thing where I'm like, yeah, this is my pocket pick stage. I always know to pick this stage to knock people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really know what his thought process was. And then he was like, "This is what you didn't like about Soul Calibur 6, that you can do ring outs." And I'm like, "No, I'm totally fine with ring outs and like the Soul Calibur games. They seem pretty fair to me, because you can definitely avoid it. I don't think it's a thing where it's like, oh, like they're cheap or anything. You can not get rung out." I was like, if anything, you guys didn't like that. I'm totally fine with ringing niggas out. And if I don't move out of the way, getting rung out. Because you can actually just move out of the way. That's just a thing you can do in this game. Um, and then another thing that Colin got upset about, Dozer does a lot of auto combos in Dragon Ball Fighter Z. And I, as of recent, have started using auto combos more. Um, and I was doing pretty well in Dragon Ball Fighter Z the other day. Um, I think I won every time I was on the stick. You know what I mean? And when I say I won, I mean like best 2 out of 3. So not saying that like I won every game no matter what, but if it was like best 2 out of 3 with somebody, I don't think I lost a 2 out of 3 against anybody. So I did like pretty well. But Colin at one point seemed pretty annoyed, especially when it was me versus Dozer. So he wasn't even like the one playing, but he was like, all I'm seeing is like auto combos and people just like doing like raw supers or whatever. And then Gerard's like, there's definitely more than that going on. And then Colin just didn't say anything about it, but it was weird. Um, yeah, that is a thing. Let's see. And then Nani said, I already read that. Kel said, I finished the art of the main Fruit Fairy trio. I'll direct message them to you on Amino, so I can gain your opinion. Okay, ballin'. I'll definitely have to check that out. And then Nani said, what do you mean by better? Better in what way? So when I mean better, well, I'm trying to remember what context you're referring to when it comes to like better. You're talking about like the situation with Colin. I think things with Colin are getting better because I feel like Colin isn't doing the things that I mentioned like bothered me. Like when me and Colin had like the heart to heart talk and we discussed our grievances, I think Colin's doing a good job of not doing the things that we specifically talked about. And I really appreciate that. I think the only thing he's done is the you have to do something thing. He did that again after we had already talked about it. But other than that, he's been pretty good. He's just doing new stuff, like new put downs and jokes at my expense. I don't know how to feel about him. I don't mind them too much, um, except when they feel more attacky. Because sometimes he does stuff that's like reactionary to a particular topic that isn't necessarily about me, that then becomes like a put down, and that seems kind of random. And then other times there'll be no context and he'll just go for like a shot. And it's like, why? Like I don't even understand like what's going on to provoke it. Um, but other than that, I think things are like pretty like smooth. I don't think it's too weird. Um, I guess I also think it's interesting that recently when Colin's like gone for like a put down, I've like reacted. I've been like, hey, like no 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 no. But he seems to not take well to my reactions, and I also don't know what to do or say about that. Because I feel like if I didn't react to them, they'd be more like bullying. You know what I mean? But the fact that I do react to them, I think makes it like a hey, like you said something, but like here's like how I like feel about it so that it's more like a discussion thing and not just a I'm getting shot on one-sided thing. But I feel like his reactions always feel like a I'm surprised you reacted, now I'm going to react thing, and it's weird. Cuz it's like if you expect me not to react, then what is this? Like what's actually happening? Let's see. And then Ryan said, "You have to get hugged." And then Nani said, "He was making fun of you for making money or what?" Well, I mentioned this before. Uh, Colin, on a few different occasions, has done like a put down, like over like the past few days that were like all related to me making money. One was at trivia, where one of the trivia questions had to do with like someone being an ex writer, and then Gerard's like, no one's really an ex writer. Uh, like people normally don't just like start writing and then just like give up on writing like forever. And then Colin says like, yeah, Jet's gonna just keep publishing like 2-page books for just like the rest of his life or whatever. Um, I do publish relatively like short books um, on Kindle and even like in paperback. You can publish books that are like a minimum of like 24 pages. Um, but I don't think a 24-page book is as much to scoff at as Colin thinks. Um, so when he like did that like shit on, I hit him back up and I was like, still waiting for yours, like still waiting for you to like publish a book. And then he's like, my book's like 100 pages. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think he understands why that like doesn't feel as big of a thing. Like he's like over exaggerating by going like I'm publishing 2-page books. If each book I publish is a minimum of 24 pages and I'm consistently publishing books all the time and Colin's still working on a book that's like 100 pages, I've written and published way more than 5 paperback books. You know what I mean? And it only takes like 5 paperback books to equate to what Colin's still working on. So I don't understand. It just seems like a really weird shit on, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Another one was Colin being like, "You'd have to be crazy to like get a magic spell from Jet," which I understand that. Not everybody vibes with the whole like magic spell thing. I do like magic spells for money online. That's not that weird. That one only feels weird in the context of the fact that it's been a trend of shit on specifically about stuff that I do to make money. Because of course I publish books, I make money from like book sales, and I do magic spells, and people like pay me to like cast magic spells and stuff. Um, this one was weird. He did a shit on that was like he's currently working at like the Mac resource store and he's like trying to get like certifications and stuff. And me, Max, and Colin were all talking together, and then we a cybersecurity topic comes up that like Max is talking about. And then when Max talks about that topic, I go, yeah, that's like why cybersecurity is like such a big field, is because there are so many problems like that. And then Colin goes, yeah, And right now I'm getting my Mac certifications because with those, I'll be able to work in cybersecurity. And he talked about like how actually having a major in cybersecurity like doesn't really matter and like da 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 da. And it felt kind of like a shit on like on my major. Like it's a thing where it's like your major doesn't matter. Like you don't actually need that. And like I can get a job that's like your job working at like the Mac store kind of thing. That one was really weird. But those are like the three like way I make money related put downs that like Colin has like dished out recently, and I'm like, why? Why are they? They're all related to ways that I make money, and I just don't understand these in particular. I just don't understand. Like they're it's like themed. I don't get like the themed put downs. It's just weird. Let's see. Ryan said still salty about '05 with Rock Lee. Rock Lee wasn't ready, dude. Sasuke life. I'm ready. You want to play more Naruto, Ryan? I'm down to throw you these hands. Kel said, "Does the stage even matter in Soul Calibur 6?" Yeah. So the thing that Colin was upset about is that it was a stage where you can like ring out people, and he felt like I had maliciously selected a stage specifically to ring out Colin, almost as if Colin was like, you picked this stage because you can't really beat me. You're gonna beat me by like ringing me out." I beat Colin like 2 out of 3, like best 2 out of 3 in like Soul Calibur 6, and it wasn't a thing where I just kept constantly ringing out Colin or whatever. It wasn't like I only won by ring out. I got like a couple rounds by ring out. I also lost a couple rounds by like ringing myself out because I kept doing a fucking a string by accident where my character would jump and like leap forward. So I kept doing the string, and I think on 2 separate occasions jumped over Colin's character and out of the ring. It fucking sucked. I don't know what the button combination is to do that. I'm just trying to do like mix ups, changing between vertical slash and horizontal slash because um, vertical slash is like unblockable. And then horizontal slash has to be blocked. So your opponent has to guess when to block and when to sidestep. So I kept trying to like switch back and forth between them, and I accidentally was doing like moves because different combinations of horizontal and vertical slash translate to special moves. And I ended up doing a special move where I would jump and I just accidentally kill myself. But it was really weird. I didn't understand why he thought that, or like how would I don't even own Soul Calibur 6, and we haven't played it in like months. How would I know like which stages are the best ones for ring outs? And why would I like it just seems weird. It just seems very like out there. Let's see. And then Nani said, "What if the stage has lollies?" And then Ryan said sirens. Ooh, that was a pretty good response, Ryan. I liked the sirens. Then Kel said, "That would either be the best stage or the worst stage." Then Ryan said, "You are under arrest for mentioning lollies to Jet." Then Ryan said, "He can't handle them." Then Kel said, "Nani, run." Ryan said, "To the hills." Then Nani said, "No." He said, "Why is Colin being more of a D ever since you got out of college?" I don't think Colin's being more of a D, or at the very least, I would say, I don't think Colin's being more of a D like intentionally, nor do I think he's doing anything with malicious intent. I don't think that Colin is like being malicious. I don't think he's trying to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I don't think he's trying to make anyone feel like unwelcome or anything like that. I just think he's doing things that he thinks are not making people uncomfortable and he thinks are just fine and are like a part of just like his personality. But I feel like once you bring to Colin's attention, like, hey, like this is something that like is bothering me or that I don't really vibe with, that Colin is actually rather understanding and that he's pretty good about like not doing it. At least it seems like for the most part. I just feel like after we had our talk, even though Colin's doing better at not doing the things that like I mentioned bothered me, he's now doing like other things. I just don't know how I feel about him. Like I don't know if they are legitimate grievances, and if I need to sit down with Colin again and be like, hey, like why is this or that happening,
or if it's a thing where I'm like, this doesn't actually really matter, like in like the grand scheme of things. Like even though he's done three different like way I make money related put downs, that doesn't mean he's gonna do a fourth one. And if he does do a fourth one, maybe then that's when I'll be like, hey, like this is a pattern. I don't understand why this keeps happening, and then like talk to him about it. You know what I mean? But for now, I don't really think it's like that serious. It's just weird. It just feels like an odd coincidence. Let's see. Nani said, or maybe because he lives with people or something? Why? Then Ryan said, is he? And then Nani said, did I say intellectual? And then Ryan said, when Matt said it. Then Nani said, LMAO. Damn, he roasting you. Then Ryan said, Mac resources like fixing a Mac. How is it like cybersecurity? It's not. That's that's why it's weird. Uh, then Ryan said Jet has his power underestimated and jumps into low Earth orbit. Then Nani said, okay. Yeah. Like, I have nothing against Colin. I think Colin's like a good person. I feel like he's trying his best and that he's like not trying to make people feel uncomfortable. I just feel like he's unintentionally doing so. And as long as we bring it to Colin's attention, we like talk to him about it, we air our grievances, we let Colin air his grievances because we're not perfect people either. Excuse me, you know what I mean? I'm sure we do things that like bother Colin on occasion. And Colin's brought up like grievances that he has with me before, and we've like talked that kind of thing out. It's all about just like keeping the line of communication clear, making sure that we like voice how we feel when we feel the way we feel. Don't let things get like bottled up or anything. And just like express like our feelings. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the best way to make sure that everyone's feeling comfortable and that no one is feeling like weird. Just keep making sure that like lines of communication are clear. Kelson, I'm trying to think of an interesting gimmick for fruit fairies. Do you guys have any ideas? Um, Maybe like seed counters, and seed counters can be used to like special summon additional fruit fairies. Like maybe like a spell card that's like fruit fairy basket, and with the fruit fairy basket spell card, every time you summon a fruit fairy, you can like put a seed counter on it, and then when you gain like enough seed counters, you can spin them to special summon fruit fairies, which then will add like more seed counters to it, and like so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Um, a weird counter special summon mechanic. Maybe fruit fairies could be used as like a link engine to go into like the extra deck fruit fairies and stuff like that. And maybe the fruit fairies have different effects when special summoned by the effect of fruit basket or fruit fairy basket. You know what I mean? So fruit fairy basket could be like a field play spell card, which would make it searchable with like terraforming. Um, it then could allow you to gain those counters by like summoning fruit fairies, let you special summon fruit fairies by spending the counters, and then those fruit fairies have effects when special summoned. Shit like that. I think that'd be cool. Then Ryan said juice. He said make it fusion based. Ooh, and you like fuse flavors together. That's a cool idea, Ryan. I like that. Nani said ninja's unluckiest moment ever. Then Ryan said by combining flavors. I dig that. Then Nani said, what is the Fruit Fairies? Is it about like Nick and Ryan? The Fruit Fairies is a custom archetype that Kales is. I just said Kales. That Kels is coming up with for Yu-Gi-Oh. So it's a custom Yu-Gi-Oh archetype. All the monsters are fruit with wings, and they're like fairy type. Let's see. Then Ryan said, no, it's not gay. And then Nani said, K. And he said, so like a Black Clover thing? Are there fruit fairies in Black Clover? Like I don't get the reference. Kel said the field spell can be Fruit Fairy Garden. Oh, okay. And then Kel said, thanks for the ideas, guys. I love it. Okay, I'm glad that you're vibing. Then Ryan said, I haven't watched or read Black Clover. I've seen a little bit of Black Clover. I don't really seem to be getting into it. And then Nani said there are spells in it. Well, I mean, there are spells in Yu Gi Oh too. just a whole type of card, a whole ass type of card. Also, I just thought about that. So I think it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 4, or maybe it's in Season 5. They reveal that like all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters are real and they exist in like this other world. And that means like the spellcaster type monsters are also real in that other world. I guess my question would be, is magic just a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh? And can only the spellcaster type monsters use magic? Or could once Yugi learned that like the monsters are real, do you think he could have like learned how to cast spells and shit? Like, do you think he could have just learned how to use the spell? Because if the monsters are real, then the magic is real, right? Like, I don't know. That just seems weird. That's something that I don't remember ever being explored. Like when they were in the monster world. Like, does that mean just spells are real? And does that mean people can just cast spells if you like knew how to do it? There are like spellbook cards in Yu-Gi-Oh and shit like that. I'm not sure if they were around at the time of like OG Yu-Gi-Oh, but if he like found a spellbook, like could he learn how to cast? I don't really know how that works. Kel said it can be fusion based, but I do want a synchro and an XYZ just for fun, but no pendulum. He said, but links are in there obviously. Interesting. There's a lot that you could do for because they don't all have to be fusions, but for extra deck monsters, you could do juice, you could do fruit salads, you could do like a fruit basket, you could do smoothies. There are a lot of different ways that you can combine fruit together in order to like make like a new type of fruit fairy. And then Ryan said in the OG lore, the players are wizards and used magic to summon the monsters. Okay, so yeah, magic just is real. Doesn't Yugi use Mind Crush at one point? Just in real life? Like in the OG anime? And isn't Mind Crush just straight up a card? And then Ryan said that was back when the game was called something else. Are you talking about what it was called like in ancient Egypt? Are you talking about how like in the manga back when the game was called like Wizards and Warrior? I don't think it's called Wizards and Warriors. Wizards and Magic? Is it called Wizards and Magic? I don't fucking know. Something like that. And then Ryan said season 4 doesn't count. Then Kel said, how about you can use the counters as ways to special summon extra deck monsters? Using counters? Hmm. How many counters? I don't know. I think it's interesting the concept of using the counters to get the monsters out instead of using the monsters themselves, because it sounds like you could special summon a bunch of fruit fairies. Well, fuck. Oh, well, the system's different. Never mind. So if you use the counters to get the extra deck monsters, then you have like Fruit Fairy Garden. It gets seed counters on it every time you like summon a Fruit Fairy monster. Then Fruit Fairy monsters, when they're summoned, may have like on summon effects or whatever, but they also give you the benefit of building up those counters. And then you can sacrifice counters off of like Fruit Fairy Garden to then summon extra deck Fruit Fairy monsters without using your monsters as materials. So you can keep the Fruit Fairies you have on the field, but still go into like extra deck monsters. I think that's an interesting concept. Let's see. And then Ryan said Mind Crush is a type of penalty game. Oh, okay. That makes sense. And then he said, yeah, it was something in Wizards. And then Kel said, like, the extra deck monsters would have, like, seed cost in addition to its material. Oh no, they're harder to summon. And he said, but in exchange, the monsters are pretty good. Oh no. Oh, I thought you were gonna make it where you could summon them straight with the counters. I was like, that's interesting. Like, I feel like you could kind of do it. And then Ryan said it depends on how easy it is to gain counters. That's true. I feel like and then Ryan said maybe one monster can be summoned that way, like one extra deck monsters, but not all of them. So Emot is like putting up rap lyrics. Yo, Emot, are those like your lyrics? Like, did you like write those? Or are you like these are quotes from like a rapper that is like not you? Like that's what I'm curious about. And then Emot said, "Yep. What is it called? Like the rap that you like just posted." Let's see. If I only said the rhyming words, it would be present, heaven, progression, dimensions, and then I guess cushions would be the rhyming words. It like kind of does like a slant, cause present and heaven like kind of go, and then heaven progression is like a better rhyme. Like those like fit like a lot better. Progression dimensions is like a slant, and then dimensions cushions is like a little bit better. And then Ryan said rape rapper rapier. And then Emot said read it as ONR. Read it as ONR. Which one? Are you like talking about like one of the rhyme things? Like present heaven, progression, dimensions, cushions. Like is that how I'm supposed to pronounce one of them? Read it as one. Wait, what? Read it as one. So what syllable sound is supposed to be one? I can't tell if you're saying read your rap or you're like the way that you're supposed to pronounce like cushions as like cushy one or something to like make the rhyme scheme go. Because I was talking about the rhyme scheme, so I don't know where you're at. Kel said, like some monsters you can summon with just counters, others you can use them in addition to material for benefits. Excuse me. And others you can use some material and a few counters. I think it would be cool, Kels, if all your extra deck monsters were like they can be summoned with these materials, or they can be summoned with a certain number of counters, or if you summon them with the materials and that number of counters, they gain like additional effects. So it could be like if you use Fruit Fairy Appley and Fruit Fairy Perry to summon this card, you can also summon this card with like 5 seed counters on it. Like you can also summon this card by sacrificing 5 seed counters. But if you summon this card by using Fruit Fairy Appley, Fruit Fairy Perry, and sacrificing 5 counters, this monster now has like a new like additional effect. I think that would be kind of cool. Oh, and then he said read it all. So I think it would be cool if I could pull up like a little beat to go with it. I kind of imagine a beat that Patches used, but I don't know who Patches' producer is. Patches likes to use J Rob, at least for one song, is weird to say likes to use. I don't want to use a J Rob instrumental specifically and get that fucking copyright strike. Maybe free copyright sounds to avoid that fucking copyright strike. Hey, here we go. I don't think this is necessarily a good one. I don't think I've heard this one before. This seems new. My life is like a book. and I've been focused on the present, lay in the tall weeds like I just created my own heaven, making time to relax. I take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. I still think cushions and dimensions and like progression, like cushions doesn't really go with it. Also, what if it was slightly faster? My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall weaves like I just created my own heaven. Making time to relax, I take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. It's still like, yeah, even like faster, it doesn't like necessarily make it rhyme. Also, I think the syllable count makes present to heaven feel really far away. Like trying to connect those two like rhymes. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall leaves like I just created my own heaven. It's the like I just created my own heaven. That feels like a really long part because you're trying to rhyme off of present, but heaven feels so far away. You know what I mean? My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall leaves like I just created heaven. Yeah, like if you said like I just created heaven instead of saying like I just created my own heaven, I think it flows a little bit better. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall weeds like I just created heaven, making time to relax. I take a pause in my progression. I take a pause in my progression feels far away too. Maybe if you didn't say making time to relax. So my life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall weeds like I created heaven. I take a pause in my own progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. Yeah, I still don't like the cushion part. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall weaves. I just created heaven. I take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. I keep adding of. You just say on top imaginary cushions. But I don't know. And then Emot said, yeah, lol. And then Kel said, cushion works. It's all in how you pronounce it. How should I be saying cushions? Because I'm rhyming off of dimensions, I guess. Cushions, dimensions. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present. Laying in tall weaves, I just created heaven, making time to relax, take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top imaginary cushions. Still feel like cushions doesn't really fit it. Just trying to make the lyrics make sure they work and really fit in. Let's see. So then he's like, try this beat. But my issue with like trying certain beats, right, is that I only do copyright free beats because I'm not trying to get these strikes. So he sent a beat called Loner. It's labeled as a free beat by Jody. So this is a normal speed beat. Let's see. Emote said I wrote it in like 7 minutes. Didn't organize. Uh, I personally use. Oh, it paused. Here we go. Um, a lot of times I use RapPad. So RapPad is like a free website thing that you can go on where you can like write lyrics. It really helps with counting syllables line by line. Because that way you can make sure that like the syllable flow works out from line to line. I just would use that as like a tip to try and make sure not to have like two like additional weird to say two additional, but like too many syllables is what I mean, to where like the rhyme scheme doesn't necessarily work. And then Ryan said, Jet, review the linked rap. Send the rap again that you wanted me to review. Emont said, the cushion throws off, I know, but it's like a slick rhyme, like a slant rhyme kind of thing. Then Ryan said, from the top of the stream, repost it. Then Emont said, try this beat, which is the loner beat. Excuse me. Emont said, understandable. Kel said, I feel like getting rid of the my own part of my own heaven makes it sound like you're trying to be like God or something. It just sounds really entitled. Interesting. So it's supposed to be to this beat. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present land in tall weeds like I just created my own heaven, making time to relax. I take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. I still don't really like trying to say the full thing. Let me go for faster speed. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying in tall waves like I just created my own heaven, making time to relax and take my pause in progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. I picked kind of like a lull in the song to go for it. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present, laying tall waves like I just created my own heaven, making time to relax. I take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. I don't know. I still feel like it's too wordy. Uh, but I understand where you're coming from, where you're like, the meaning of it is different if you don't say the my own part. So what if I said, laying tall weaves my own heaven, rather than like I just created my own heaven? So my life is like a book, and I've been focused on the present, laying tall weaves my own heaven, making time to relax. I take a pause in my progression. Well, hold on, making time to relax, pause in my progression, making time to relax, pause in my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. My life is like a book and I've been focused on the present lane in tall weaves my own heaven, making time to relax, pause my progression, getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. I guess I feel like that flows a little bit better. It doesn't need to be as fast as I'm doing it, but I feel like that flows a little bit better without getting rid of meaning. It's just more getting rid of the parts that are like the simile parts don't necessarily need to be there. Um, but I feel like it flows a little bit more. Oh, but what was the rap that you wanted me to review? Ryan. Let's see. So Emont rewrote it. He said, my life is like a book and I've been focused on the present. Laying tall weaves like I just created my own heaven. Making time to relax, I take a pause in my progression, getting lost in dimension on top of imaginary. It's the same thing. Yeah, I don't think he changed anything. That's like the same thing that he wrote before. Then Emont said, don't pause. Then Kel said, maybe if you make the first line longer, it could work. I don't know. The first line longer. I see what you mean, so that you don't feel like you're trying to play catch up to get to the next rhyme. And then Emont said, what do you think it's about? So I've played this game with Aiden before. Um, it's hard to tell what people's raps are about because they could have a lot of personal symbolism, and then you just would have no idea. Life is like a book, and I've been focused on the present. So, life is like a book is a simile, comparing, I suppose, the progression of life to like the progression of a story. And I'm focused on the present when put in regards to that simile is like saying, I'm not trying to skip ahead. I'm not like necessarily like looking forward to the end of the book, nor am I paying too close attention to like previous chapters. The current point in the story is the point in the story that I'm like most invested in. And while I do want to know what's happening next, because it's not a story, it's not like the rap is about not continuing the book. It's more about like enjoying the moment. I guess like staying on like the current page kind of thing. Then the next line is laying tall weaves like I just created my own heaven. Weaves, I think, is a very interesting term. It's not like tall leaves or tall grass. It's like specifically weaves. So weaves are kind of like a form of fabric, interlacing long threads. But weaves could also be like, that's fucking weird actually. Like the concept of it being weaves. Um, laying in tall weaves, not in tall leaves. or like even like tall waves. Like it's not like water weaves. So maybe like being like curled up in bed kind of thing. Cause I could imagine like weaving blankets or whatever or something. But it's tall weaves. It's not just weaves. It's tall weaves. What's another word? A particular style or manner in which something is woven. And of course, there's like the hairstyle weave, but I doubt that's what you're talking about. Form thread into fabric by interlacing. Making a complex story or pattern from a number of interconnected elements. Oh, well, if you use that definition of weave, include an element in such like a story or pattern. So if you use the type of weave that's connected to like a complex story, it can tie back into the book part. So my life is like a book, and I've been focused on the present, focusing on like the current part of the story. Laying tall weaves. Tall weaves could be similar to saying like tall tales. So because a weave is like to form like a complex story, and a tall tale is like a very like grand story kind of thing, that may be like hyperbolic. It's like I'm in a complex kind of like exaggerated life. Maybe like that's the and that makes sense because if life is like a book and you're focused on the present, you're focused on like the present moment, and if it's like a complex story with a lot of like interconnected elements, then it's like saying that the present means so much more. It's like a very like exaggerated like present that you're like being in. The moment is so much greater in like your current like mind state to where you're not thinking about the past, you're thinking about the future. I'm not sure if that's where you were going with it, but I feel like that would be like a cool way to make it a bar where they tie in. Like I just created my own heaven. Now, like I just created my own heaven, that works with tall weaves, mainly because of the fact that a weave in this like version of weave is to make a complex story or pattern from a number of interconnected elements. So when it's like life is like a book, it's not just like a book that you're reading, it's like a book that you're writing. So it's like the concept that like you have agency in your life, you feel like you have like control over your life, and you're able to really like shape like your present moment. You know that you have like control over the present, and you don't really have a lot of control over like what's already happened, like the past. You don't necessarily have control over the future, but you know that like the actions that you take now are your own, and the idea that you're making it like your own heaven, it's like whatever you feel like you're doing in the present moment, you feel like it's good, you feel like this is what you want to be doing, um, which I guess is great considering the fact that it's a tall weave, kind of like a tall tale. So it's like an over exaggerated like feeling of like goodness. So that just sounds like it would be good. Let's see, making time to relax. I take a pause in my progression. That if you take it from the concept of like it's the book analogy, like you're like actively like writing out your own story. Um, what is to take a break from writing your own story? If writing your own story is more or less like a metaphor, more or less a simile because you use like a lot. It's a simile for living your life. What is a break from living your life? I guess that's just what a break is normally. It just sounds like you're just relaxing in real life. To pause in your progression makes it almost seem like you're taking in the present moment. So you're taking in a very specific moment where you're not doing anything. Maybe it's just like you being at peace, just kind of relaxing. So it's more about like a specific relaxing moment. Getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. So getting lost in dimensions on top of imaginary cushions. Daydreaming is what I would get from that, with the whole getting lost in dimensions on imaginary cushions. Imaginary cushions is interesting because I don't fully know what you're getting at with that. Like, is it a thing where you don't have like a real bed? Like, it's like, because imaginary cushions makes me think that like you're not lying on cushions. You don't actually have like pillows or whatever, but at least in the place like of peace that in your mind you do, which could potentially hint at like a harder times kind of thing. Um, which feels like an interesting tonal shift if that's the case. But that's like my weird look at what it might be, like what it could be about. I imagine you have since then posted what it actually is about. Then Emot said, "Yep." And then Emot said, "Oh shit, I thought weaves were like the grass." No. Weaves are not like the grass. So I know the weave bar wasn't actually there, but it'd be nice if it was. I feel like if that's where you were actually going with it, that'd be cool as fuck. Emot said, "Lol." Kel said, "I'm gonna go now. Good luck on your rap. It sounds really nice." Oh, catch you later, Kels. Thank you for tuning in. It's always good to have you. Hope you have a wonderful day today. And I hope to see you on the next stream. Emot said, "Thanks. Peace, Kels." Then Kels said, "Don't say peace. I'm an anarchist." Then Emot said, "Hmm." And then he said, "Happy purging works." Then Emot said, "It's about to get lost. It's about getting lost in my mind." So yeah, like a daydreaming thing. And then Ryan said, "Why would an anarchist not like peace?" Um, I'm not like a professional in anarchy or anything, but I thought the only thing that anarchy was like against was like government. Mm. Let's see, we are like 2.5 hours past. It's currently 2:40 p.m. and I have a date tomorrow at like 3 something. So I should probably, it's either 3 something or 4 something. I don't know, but I should probably go to bed. I've been procrastinating too hard on like exercising and showering every day, so I end up doing it like really late. So my day doesn't end up starting until really late in the day. So I don't want to wake up in like 8 hours at like 10:40 or whatever, and then wait like 4 hours before I actually like exercise, shower, and eat and everything. Because if I waited 4 hours, it would go from 10 to 12 to like 2, and 2 would still give me like a good amount of time to like get ready. Um, but then if I have to like exercise, shower, and eat, and if that takes like an hour and a half, and like 3:30, I'd be like barely making time. But I know I can do better if I actually just go to bed now. So I'm gonna like try to go to bed now. Let's see. Then Kel said, "Oh no, I've been exposed." Then Emot said, "Yeah, the song's basically about getting high in the woods or something." Oh man, I feel like it could potentially be a lot deeper. It could be a lot deeper than just getting high in the woods. Then Kel said, runs out the door. Then Emot said, "Peace. Have a wonderful night, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This is, excuse me, your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black one and only, logging out. Peace, guys." Then Nani said, "You're leaving." And then Ryan said, "You skipped my message." Uh, so Ryan said, "Anarchies are against unjust hierarchies." My apologies on missing your message. And then Nani said, "Mother F." Well, catch you guys later. Well, see you guys next time on